I had to tell that joke to my buddy's dad, who is like 100% Italian, and he started cracking up.
That's what our 25% Italian. Or
Yeah,
something?
because I don't.
Marcus
You guys,
and I?
you're fakers.
Wow,
No,
how dare you?
I
Posers.
had ancestry tests done.
Yeah.
How
well,
dare you.
now they have your genetics.
Forever.
That's cool.
What's
Well,
the worst that
do
can
you know if
happen?
the clone of you is gonna care?
Dude,
Clone rights, dude.
It won't know though.
Clone rights. They're gonna be
Did you
the
guys
same.
hear about the artificial beef they're making?
Yes.
Ugh.
Well, I got an artificial beef with that.
This
Making
guy
fake meat.
talking. He's upset about artificial beef. This guy.
Like it's genetically created beef is happening.
Good. Who cares? It'll probably
gonna
help
eat
save
it?
the planet.
Are you gonna eat it?
Because the animal industry is a big pollutant.
Yeah, but they're never gonna stop.
I think we're gonna reach a critical mass where eventually we're gonna have to stop.
No,
you know.
it'll be like Wall-E. Everybody's gonna go up into space, and then us poor folk are
Well,
gonna be down here to
sure.
die in the wasteland.
We're all gonna be fat in chairs.
Mm.
No, we
Floaty
won't be
chairs.
up there.
Idiocracy is a documentary.
Might as well be.
Yeah, that's for people who see like 3 movies. They say stuff like that.
So like you, because you just said it. Wow.
Yeah, I was in character.
Yeah. You are a character.
Thank you.
I guess you guys have noticed, or maybe you haven't. This is the Terror Trio, but we got a new iteration of the Terror Trio. So we're just gonna talk about the elephant in the room right off the bat. Mike and Drew are not on the show, and they won't be on the show for a little bit because of some personal issues. But we're gonna keep this train rolling. And for right now, figured I'll have our alternate co-host from the Gore 4. I don't know if you guys remember, we had
Gory
an episode back in August, the Gore 4,
Gory
where we had myself, then we had,
Marcus.
and then we have,
Peter Vulo.
and
Daniel Morris.
all here. So basically what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to run the same format we did before, where we talk horror news and then a random subject. So we'll get started today with the news.
Kind of feel like I should have included my last name because you guys did, but I would have been out of breath. So continue.
Wait a minute, who gave their last name?
the other two?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
Is that-
Oh.
oh,
Daniel might have even included his middle initial.
He didn't.
Nope, I did
No,
not.
he didn't.
I did not.
Yeah.
Daniel
No.
P. Morris.
He's really
Yeah.
loose with it. He's
I'll-
really loose with it. He
I'll-
makes me do it, but he doesn't do it
I don't.
himself.
Yeah.
I'll control my
Whatever.
breathing for the podcast, and I'll say my last name at the end.
All right, well, good.
Take
So-
deeper breath.
In terms of news, now, how are you guys feeling about Columbia Pictures is releasing a remake of The Grudge, which is about to come out January 3rd, 2020.
I never saw the first.
remake.
I never saw the first one or the remake of it. So
I hate
don't
remakes,
know.
but it's rated R. Wait, no, I love it.
Oh, wow, that's that sarcasm that we love.
No, I love it. It's rated R, but it's a remake. What am I supposed to do? Didn't somebody notable direct it, or is going to direct it?
Well, Sam Raimi is producing it,
Okay.
and it
Yeah,
stars Lin
yeah.
Shaye, Damien Bashir, and John Cho.
Do you
So
know
wait,
who the
Harold and
Lin
director is?
Kumar.
Lin Shaye's in a horror movie? I
Do-
don't believe that.
Wow.
Do you know who the director is?
I have no idea. Nope.
Okay. Because Sam Raimi did produce Crawl. Not
Sam
great.
Raimi, Sam Raimi is a
Not
It was an
producer,
okay movie. I mean,
it's
for it
not-
being monster horror or, animal horror.
Don't make excuses for it, Eugene.
No. I mean, it was, for what it was okay. It wasn't a Black Christmas, but
Ooh.
yeah.
The
Love it.
74 one is pretty great.
The 74 one was good. I don't know
How
about
about the
great.
2006?
Whoa.
Six, maybe one?
whoa.
We'll get into that later.
Wow.
We'll get into that later. So, I mean, what are your feelings on it, aside from Peter's sarcasm?
I have zero interest. I never saw the original or the remake, and won't be seeing this one.
Really?
I think in the early 2000s that all that J-horror stuff was like
It was the shit.
genre, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess it'll be interesting to see how it translates to modern times. I know there was that sequel to The Ring called Rings a couple of years ago, maybe last year. That
Oh, that movie was
just a
fucking
total-
horrible.
Yeah, it was a total dud.
Yeah.
So I mean, I didn't see it, but it's just there was no interest in it. So I don't know how now The Grudge is going to do. In all seriousness, perhaps the rated R thing will draw people in. I know the director was somebody notable. I just can't think of it.
No.
No?
His name is Nicholas Pesky.
Yeah, so he is somebody notable to people who know.
Okay.
He directed a movie called The Eyes of My Mother that came out a couple years ago. Fantastic
okay.
black and white, like crazy horror movie. It's about this isolated girl who lives with her family, and she turns into a murderer or whatever. But it's a fantastic movie. The Eyes of My Mother. So that guy directing a big budget horror movie could be interesting, especially if they let him have free reign on the material. It could be good, but I don't know. The Grudge, The Ring, that was horror that was cool when I was like 13. I don't know how I'll feel about it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the stuff that reminded me of like when you would go to Mondo Video, and that was the only place you could
Mondo
find some of
Video.
that stuff, where it was Ringu and like The Grudge or whatever that was.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, that Ring remake was pretty creepy.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like people were always talking about how like, oh, don't watch it before you go to bed or something like that. And I mean, the people that are in it, I mean, it's got the dude from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, William
Sadler?
Oh, from Demon Knight. Tales
Yeah,
from
he's
Demon
gonna be
Knight.
in there.
Wait a minute, he's going to be in the new.
He's in the
new Grudge?
Yeah, he's gonna be in the new Grudge movie. They've got Andrea. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. Andrea Riceborough.
Oh,
She's gonna be in there as well. And then they got Lynn Shay.
Lynn
Yeah.
Shay.
They got a lot of people that are in
John
this
Cho.
movie.
Yeah, there's like a ton of people, like a ton of like notable people in there.
Yeah, it comes out January 3rd. So
Who
it's
knows? It could
pretty
be an
cool.
It could be an Evil Dead remake type of situation. Who knows? I mean,
I don't want to talk about it.
about what?
Oh, okay.
Evil Dead remake.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right.
You're one of those few people that didn't like it.
Wow, that
I'm one
the
of those
train's
few people
rolling and
that-
just like,
Yeah.
hey, that's
I'm
cool.
one of those
Yeah.
few
These brakes
people-
work?
I'm one of those few people that feel like it could have been called anything else and could have just had a bunch of kids in the cabin in the woods. It didn't have to be Evil Dead.
Not this.
Hashtag not my Evil Dead.
Because
Oh my God.
having a recognizable brand in theory could bring more people out.
Right.
And if you love a franchise, all right, you want
you want
to reach
more of the franchise.
you-
you don't want a woman
Wouldn't
who
you
has
want-
like addiction issues, right?
Yeah.
And she wants to go clean and sober. That's not Evil Dead. That's nothing close.
To me,
No
it's
one asked about
great
you.
if something you love it has potential to reach a wider audience, and that wide audience might want to look back and watch the original movies because they like the new one so
No,
much.
because they'll look at the old ones and they'll think it's funny because of how the effects look. They won't look at it like, oh my
I mean-
god, this is the ultimate experience in grueling terror. Is something wrong with my mic?
I'm sure there's some segment of the audience who genuinely appreciates the movie and maybe has a curiosity to look back at its history. So I mean, you could take your approach, and it's probably valid. I'm not sure, but I think it's cool. Let's get more people into horror. That's my approach. Let's get more people into horror if they want to, you know. So whatever.
So that's your feelings on it.
So you just want a remake, like, or I mean, like you're fine with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Because you don't want to get into like Die Hard 7 or something like that, right? Like you don't want it to become like too big with like the numbers and things like that.
I mean, the horror has a history of tons of sequels, though. I
Mhm.
mean, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, there's a bunch of movies. You know, Silent Night, Deadly Night has five movies and then the remake. You know what I mean? For example,
Was it
so
the initiation and the toy maker, I think. Right?
yeah, there's another one. There's 3, 4, 5. I forgot what they're.
Okay.
But those are the subtitles for some of them. And then there's a remake. That's called just Silent Night. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but with the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise, after part 2, all the other movies had absolutely nothing to do with the original.
I think part 3 might have Ricky from part 2 in it, at least the character. I'm not 100% positive. I think
Yeah.
4 and 5 are completely solo.
Wasn't he like on a gurney and they're keeping his brain alive in part 3?
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I only saw it once, and
Yeah.
it sounds right, but I could
Yeah.
be way off.
So I mean, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with remakes or sequels, but I don't want to get on another hill argument, you know, because
You love your hill
you
arguments.
do.
Peter.
You love your
you're
hills,
on
your
like
mountains, you
17
want to
hills
die
at once.
on.
because sometimes the arguments don't make sense. We love all these iconic horror franchises, and then suddenly a new sequel is announced, and it's like the end of the world. But we love all the random sequels. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, love it. You know, Jason Lives, all the other ones. It's
Mhm.
like, you know, you guys talk. Jason Takes Manhattan gets a lot of love. You know what I mean? It's like,
Because of how ridiculous it is, not because of how good it is.
okay, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, but good is all perspective.
This is true.
I mean, like it's really easy to sit there and say all that
Yeah.
stuff, but like at the end of the day, it's out of our hands, and they're just trying to keep the franchise in their back pockets.
And let's,
then
and let's
people-
be honest.
Yeah.
As much as I love Jason Takes Manhattan, no one thinks that's a good movie.
It's
Well, we'd have
terrible.
to
It was a
ask
huge letdown. It was a huge letdown when I went to
mean,
go see it in
it's
the movie
fun,
theater.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it
it's
should have been called
goofy,
Jason Takes a Cruise.
exactly.
I swear to God, that's what it should have been called.
Because somehow Crystal Lake leads into Manhattan. I don't know how that happens.
But then everyone always cries that there's no original ideas in movies in general, but no new ideas in horror. But then a new movie comes out and nobody fucking sees it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's
so
it.
it's like,
Yeah,
what do you want?
I'll see a new
What do you
movie.
fucking
I'll
want?
see a new idea, Peter.
Yeah, but you're the exception to the rule, man.
Right.
I
And
mean,
don't I don't like the other people, so I don't.
Well, so this guy that's directing the new Grudge remake, he directed a fantastic little horror film that nobody has seen before.
Yeah, I
Hashtag
mean-
cinephile.
Yeah, I've never even heard
I
of
mean,
it.
you heard me. I flat out was like, it's a nobody. He's got 3 things in his filmography, and you're like, yeah, you didn't see that, and it was
that's
great.
what I mean. And
Yeah.
now everyone's gonna shit on this before it comes out,
Right.
You know, and it's like this is a guy who could do cool things in horror, but like just take a second. You know what I mean? I don't know. What I just wonder, what do people want, and what is the argument? That's all I wonder.
I think what's happening is that a lot of what the studios are doing is basically they're taking properties that have already been tried and true and have already have a proven track record, like the old Grudges, and just bringing it back for the normies, not for us, for the hardcore horror fans. They're just bringing them out for the normies, the people that are like, oh yeah, I remember the Grudge when I was 13 years old
Yeah.
when it came out. Oh, they're making a new one. I'll check it out. It's scary, but not for people like us though. For people like us, it's a totally different story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I really watch horror movies to get scared anymore. I mean,
Oh, yeah, no.
sometimes you know,
No.
like a jump scare will get me here and there, but I'm not really watching it to expect to get scared ever. You know what I mean?
No.
That ship is like long sailed. You know,
It's all about retaining rights. It's
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
longer
that's it.
about
Yep.
like, oh, let's do this series justice. It's literally, this is about to go up. We need to retain the rights. And I mean, Disney flat out said when they closed down Fox, like, here's the whole catalog.
Yeah.
Go through with a young director that it's not, see what you can do with this.
sure.
And that's what's going to happen. That's why we're going to see this stuff for the next however many years that they do it. It's
Oh yeah,
just-
forever.
it is going to be, because nothing's going to be out. You're no longer going to find these DVDs or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And they're just going to be like, oh, hey, here's this.
Yeah.
And and everybody's going to be like, I have that. That's a remake. And no, Joe Blow isn't going to know that. The normies, like you said, aren't going to know that. And
Yep.
that's, I mean, look, they're talking about Big Trouble in Little China getting remade
Yep.
with
Yeah,
The Rock.
They've
With
been
The
talking
Rock.
about that for a while. Though,
Yeah.
so
But, like, I mean,
don't
like,
know
that's
if
the stuff
they'll
that
ever-
And
everybody-
Escape from New York.
Like they're
Mhm.
they're going to do this stuff, and it's not taking away anything from it. It's trying
Yeah.
to get to a bigger, wider audience.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have an inherent issue with them coming out out of the gate, you know. And some of these remakes and reimaginings, whatever, they can work. I mean, Evil Dead, I love it, the remake, and I think the Halloween 2018. Say what you will, but I thought that was
I
great.
have nothing
I
to
liked
say.
it. I loved it.
I thought
You
it
don't
was
have anything
fantastic.
to
fun.
say. I shouldn't say anything at all, right?
Right?
Great idea.
Damn.
Doctor
I thought
Sleep.
that
That's why you get the
fun.
shitty mic.
Doctor Sleep. Yeah, Doctor Sleep. Fantastic. Nobody fucking saw
Yep.
it. You
Yep.
know,
I saw
but
Yep.
it in theaters.
yeah, you
Once
give,
I was allowed to go
Yeah.
out in public again.
yeah, and you liked it.
I did.
Yeah, and you give a cherished property, you give that over to the hands of somebody capable, and you
well,
can get a good
Dr.
product.
Sleep,
But then
he-
nobody fucking sees
He
it.
Yeah.
made Dr. Sleep with love and care.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
could see
But
that.
nobody saw it.
Right.
Nobody fucking
I
saw it.
don't-
So what? I don't understand what people want. I don't fucking get it. And then the whole history of the horror genre. All these fucking people that complain about remakes and stuff, their favorite movies are John Carpenter's The Thing, Cronenberg's The Fly, The Blob '88, etc. There's just there's a whole history of remakes within our genre
Mhm.
that
There's
everyone
a whole
cherishes.
history of remakes within movies in general that no one even recognizes. Like, for example, Wizard of Oz. That's a fucking remake,
Mhm.
but no one talks about that. You know, there's tons of movies that are remakes that
I
no
didn't
one
know
even
that.
knows are remakes.
But I'm saying that a remake has the potential to be good and overshadow the original. And I think just maybe be open to the potential of something being good,
It's
just
callous.
as much as it could be bad.
It's callous to go into it with these preconceived
Yeah.
notions because you're just like,
Well, you're talking to someone who had no interest in the original, the remake, or the new remake. So it's not because it's a remake.
then why are you
that I-
commenting?
Because Eugene's here talking.
Like if you have,
Oh, hi guys.
Hi, how you doing?
We're
That's
supposed to-
funny.
Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Comment on things?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Podcast.
I didn't know you were. You know what? I didn't know you were so like negative or such a like curmudgeon when it comes to like a lot of stuff. Though I'm just
He doesn't
noticing
like
that now.
That's what I mean.
like it's yeah.
it's very like.
Well, I can't help it. Everybody else loves it, so someone's got to be the.
No. I get it.
No,
I totally
okay, so
understand.
that was
And
also-
and I get being
What's fucking
playing
wrong
devil's
with liking
advocate.
shit? I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no.
What the fuck is wrong with liking shit? Like, if you're immediately gonna be like, "Fuck this," like, come on, man. Like, fuck you. Like shit.
I like a lot of shit. I just said
Yeah,
I like
but
Dr.
like, come
Sleep.
on,
Yeah.
man. Like,
He
likes
fuck
Christmas.
it, fuck it. I have my opinions. Like, oh my god, dude.
We have watched a couple of those Jason
Like, I
sequels at your
get it.
house.
Like, some
I
things
forgot
are
which one.
bad, but like, people put their fucking like heart and soul into some of this shit, and they're trying to do something with
A
it.
lot of times there's no heart, no soul.
Oh
a
my
lot.
god,
A
dude, are you
lot of-
fucking serious?
And I'm not just talking strictly remakes. just
Wow,
movies
man.
In general. Movies in general, man.
Like,
They
that's a
lack heart,
horrible
they
way
lack
to go
soul.
through life. Like, just being like, fuck this, fuck that, this is shitty.
Yeah, the best times are behind us now.
Like,
you know?
fuck, man.
Yeah, the
Like,
best.
nothing's ever gonna be good. Like,
Yeah.
come
I
on.
literally just said I like Dr. Sleep.
You did.
Yeah, but like,
Yes.
You did.
Did you like it, Chapter 2?
Fuck no.
There you go.
Wow.
There
There we
you
go.
Most people
There we go.
didn't.
Yeah, well,
A lot of people didn't. A lot of people thought that it was a
lot of people
lesser
don't read
movie to the
books.
first one. You're right, but I mean, what did you think about it? I mean, compared to the first one, not compared to the book,
yeah.
but compared to the first one. How'd you feel about it? Chapter
whoa,
2.
whoa.
I think that most of the casting was spot on.
Mhm.
I think it was a much bigger in scope compared to Chapter 1, and I appreciated that. I like that it went balls to the wall with the concept of everything. You know what I mean? I would have
Mhm.
liked to see Pennywise more in the form of the clown. You know, I thought that's when he's most effective.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, that scene with him under the bleacher
Mhm.
was absolutely like terrifying.
Yeah.
And I think that was like real quality stuff. And I thought that I loved that it took the source material seriously. And I don't know, it was definitely Chapter 1 is great, but this was like a
Yeah.
step up in terms of like just the overall scope of the concept. You know what I mean? Like,
All right.
it tried.
So
Yeah, the
would you
CGI.
say, would you say Chapter 2 is like The Strangers Pray at Night, and then in Chapter 1 is like The Strangers?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, because the whole reason that Pray at Night exists is that pool scene. That's the only thing that people want to talk about. But no, at Chapter 2, there's a lot of quality in it. I mean, I don't know. I just something about it. It hit me in the right spot. You know,
Mhm.
it. Yeah, some of the CGI was spotty. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like some of the de-aging stuff in the clubhouse didn't look great. But I mean, those are. You can have negative. You can have criticisms of a movie and still like it overall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's important to have criticisms of film, of movies, but you know, you can still overall enjoy something. You know, I bought. You know, I liked it. I saw it twice. I rarely see a movie twice. You know, in theaters.
In the
but,
theaters?
Yeah. It just so happened that it was playing at my theater, so
Yeah.
it was like I could go see it a second time. You know what I mean? So, but
All
I've
right.
rewatched Chapter 1 many times as well. So,
All right.
it's how many huge blockbuster franchises are we going to have in horror these days? You know what I mean?
Not a lot, but it seems like we're going into like a renaissance right now. We talked about it before in previous episodes, where it seems like the studios are taking a chance now on big budget horror, and as long as it keeps doing well, like it and Chapter 2 did, and Halloween 2018 did, then
Yeah.
you know maybe they'll be more apt to take a chance instead of making shit like Black Christmas, the new one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, well.
He's trying to goat me. He's trying to goat me.
I am not.
Yeah.
I am not. Trust me, I know how to goat you.
Hey.
I don't know if have you guys ever read or have heard of Joe Hill's Lock and Key comic book?
yes.
I think I heard it from you.
Did you?
Or
I know
something.
nothing.
Well, Netflix released a teaser trailer recently for an adaptation of Lock and Key. It's Joe Hill's, and we all know Joe Hill is Stephen King's son. It's from Carlton Cuse, who was showrunner for Lost and Bates Motel, and Meredith Averill, who was part of The Haunting of Hill House. Which the less said about that series, the better. The series is known, is
You're not gonna
called,
jump down Eugene's
described
throat for
as
anything?
a. I hated fucking Haunting
Me
of Hill
too,
House,
man.
but then again, I don't like ghost things, ghost
I don't
movies,
like
ghost
waiting
TV
8
shows.
episodes in for something to happen.
Exactly. That fucking show sucked balls. But
I only watched a couple episodes. So.
Oh,
see, there you go. Good.
Yeah.
See, that's why he's not jumping down my throat, because everybody is in agreement with it. Dan, did you watch Haunting of Hill House?
I loved it.
You loved it?
I loved it. And
Wow.
we
All right.
said that last time. Yep. But I'm not.
You did
I'm
say it
not,
last time. That's right.
I'm not gonna go down that road.
Been there,
I feel
done
like
that.
Watch it like immediately after making like French press coffee or something, and you were
Wow.
caffeinated the whole
Wow.
time, like hand press coffee. You
Don't
know,
go down that road.
like a
Nope.
no, like an espresso drip type thing, and then you were ready to watch it.
Nope.
No, okay.
In his silk robe.
That part's true.
Yeah.
But he just wears that when
Just that's an everyday thing. Yeah. When I'm home.
Everyday shit. It's everyday shit.
he only puts on his best flannel when he leaves the house.
Yes. I had to
So
press
the trailer, the series is going to be it's described as a coming of age mystery about love, loss, and the unshakable bonds that define family.
These are gore though.
It
Is it
seems
horror?
like it's horror.
Is
It's,
there gonna
it's
be
supposed to be
blood?
horror. I don't know if
Breasts?
it's going to be blood or breasts,
Ugh, I'm out.
but there's going to be
What
like
about buns.
it's
I like
honestly to
buns.
me. I just want to
Buns.
see it only because I've read a few issues of Lock and Key, and it was a decent comic. I don't know how the series is going to be, but I'm going to give it a chance and check it out.
Book adaptation
Oh, there's
I
another
know.
hill.
There we go. There's another hill.
never
We'll-
ends. You know.
We'll keep it there for now.
Eugene, did you say what platform it was going to be on, or did I miss that?
Yeah, Netflix.
Okay.
Yep.
Ooh,
So it's coming out on
so
Netflix.
It's gonna be a series or
They
a
just
movie?
did. It's a series.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So it'll be. I don't know if it's a limited series or what, but it's going to be a series on there. Speaking of series, did you just raise your hand?
Yeah, well, I don't want to interrupt. Speaking of Joe Hill series, did anyone watch that Nosferatu thing on AMC?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Neither have I. I was hoping to read the book before I watched the show. So no, did you watch it, Dan?
No.
No.
Streaming on Shudder right now, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
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 With Zachary Quinto.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome. All right. Well, also in terms of a limited series, FX is adapting Stephen King's Carrie with a limited series. That's going to be coming up soon. Once again, this is going to be the 4th adaptation of the property. The way the showrunners are talking about it, even though there's no script yet. Oh, and I want to hear what your guys' what your guys' opinion is on this. Even though there's no script yet, they're saying that Carrie will likely be played by either a trans performer or an actress of color rather than a white woman.
Mm.
So, what do you guys think about
Let's
that?
start from the beginning. We can all agree that the original Carrie is awesome, right?
Was Sissy Spacek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now what do we think of the Rage Carrie 2?
Terrible.
Mm,
I don't know if I've seen it.
I never saw
You
it.
didn't
yeah.
miss anything.
Yeah.
All right, I never saw the newest one. What do you guys think
With
about
Chloe
that one?
Grace
Yeah, I never
Moretz?
saw that one.
I
wasn't
didn't care
good.
for it.
Yeah.
I didn't care
No.
for it.
I never
Okay.
saw
I
it.
haven't
It was
rewatched
pretty
it
much a
since it was weird.
sanitized version of the Sissy Spacek one.
Okay, now that we're up to speed, what
Yeah.
do you guys think about that?
Well, then they made a TV movie too
Yes.
Okay.
with
Yeah.
what was her last name is Bettis. She looks like she's that actress that looks like a crackhead. She was man, what was the movie? Is it Angela Bettis?
That sounds right.
I want to say
Jerome Bettis, the bus.
shit. No, I think it's Angela Bettis. But yeah,
They
they
made a
did it. They
football
made
reference.
a
Yeah,
made for TV
sports.
movie about it,
I
and
didn't know
that
that
was
was
sucky also.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's FX. FX normally does decent when with limited series. I don't know how far they're going to delve into it, but again, this is super early in the production process. Like like
Okay,
they said,
well,
there's not even a
let's-
script yet.
Let's talk about it. Carrie doesn't have to be white, so I don't get how anybody could really have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, I just I
Whereas-
thought it was pretty
whereas
weird
there's
that
like
they
a bunch of
actually
homophobes
mentioned
out there
that out of
might be
everything.
opposed to the whole trans thing, but I don't
What?
care about that personally either.
Mm.
Wasn't the whole story Angela Bettis? Okay, good. I was right.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, it's they're all fictional characters, fictional story. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have at it. It's not like it's going to be the last time Carrie's going to be adapted. So
Yeah.
let's see what we can do.
It's kind of weird that that's the one property of Stephen King's though that keeps getting adapted over and over and over
No,
again.
there's going to be that new TV show, The Stand, on
Yeah.
CBS All Access.
That's only the second time.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like
Yeah.
now we have the sequel to The Shining. It's like they're going to keep floundering the depths or whatever the word is there.
Well, now they're doing it only because Stephen King, they got that that law that took into effect that after I think it's after 30 years, all the rights and everything revert back to the original creator
Mhm.
of said
Right.
property. So, which is why
He was selling his
Wes
stories
Craven's
for $1
estate
for a while.
was he?
Yeah, he was
That's
selling
crazy.
his stories to $1 to filmmakers. Dollar
No.
stories.
Is that Stephen King trying to get it, like keep it out there with the license? Or
I
is
think that's what's happening now.
Okay.
I think now that Stephen King has gotten most of his properties back to him, now he's shopping them out
to do. Yeah,
to
okay.
make adaptations
That makes-
of it.
that makes, and it's also kind of what, like 20 years since the last time, because everybody else was doing it.
Yeah.
like the ABC stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So they
Yeah, because ABC did what? They did The Stand. They did Langoliers. They
Shining.
did.
Shining.
Then they do also Storm of the Century.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I
Is
feel
it
like
Crabs?
it was like a movie of the week.
there
all
was
the time.
Rose Red as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Drew liked that one a lot.
Yeah.
They did a bunch of stuff with them, and
Yeah.
it felt like I mean, again, I forgot that what was it? Salem's Lot was on.
Yeah, Rob Lowe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
That was
a made
awful.
for TV movie
Yeah.
too. I forgot all about that stuff.
Yeah.
That was
know?
awful.
Which is getting remade.
Yeah, and then they're doing a what is it? A prequel to that. It's going to be set in like Gothic. It's like Jerusalem's
Yep.
Lot.
Oh.
Actually, that was one of my
Oh,
my
yeah.
pieces of news that I had on
News
here.
Spoiler.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen King's Jerusalem's Lot, which will star Adrian Brody. That's going to be coming up on Epix. So Epix ordered a series about that.
Now,
And I guess-
is Jerusalem's Lot actually a book or anything by Stephen King?
It's a
Yeah,
short
Salem's
story.
Lot.
Yeah, it's a short
Well, I
story.
know-
No, it's a
Salem's
full novel.
Lot,
It's a
but-
full.
Are you sure?
They say
Well,
I could have
there
sworn
is
it was a
Jerusalem's
short.
Lot. There is Jerusalem's Lot, which is
Yeah.
a short story. It might
Okay.
be
Yes.
a night shift.
Yes.
But then there's the full novel of Salem's Lot.
Well, I know
Yeah, but that's
Lot
Salem's
is
Lot,
just an
though.
abbreviation for Jerusalem's Lot.
Yeah.
So the actual town's name is Jerusalem's Lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
They just call it Salem's Lot.
Okay.
But Salem's Lot was a totally separate story
I believe so. Yeah.
to Jerusalem's Lot, which was a short story. Was part of Night Shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I've read
I think
some
it was
Stephen
it
King,
came out in
but
like
not
74,
all.
78.
In,
Yeah.
in that same collection of short stories, there's a story that leads into The Stand, or is part of The Stand
Mhm.
universe, if you will.
Well, it's all
Night Surf, I think
yeah,
it's called.
yeah, it's all connected. They got the town was actually featured prominently in the second season of Castle Rock, which I don't know
Yeah,
if you guys have watched that at
Yeah,
all.
man. I
No?
really didn't. The first season, it was like a slog to get through. Like I have one episode.
First
left.
season was tough to get through.
Yeah,
So it was like a Haunting of Hill House situation? Or-
yeah, but I made
Kind
it
of, yeah,
farther
yeah.
into Castle Rock. Actually, I made it much farther, and I watched some episodes twice, just like, oh, I got to get through this. I got to get to the last one, and I haven't been able to do it. So I've been like a year. So with that being said, I haven't watched the second season. You know,
All right.
but I like Misery, so
There we go.
the book.
So the new
Movie.
this new Epix series is going to run for 10 episodes.
Is that another fucking streaming service? That's one
Epix
thing
is
I will-
another
It's a
channel.
TV show.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
okay.
channel, I mean.
I
It's a
don't
channel,
have
a
I
paid
haven't had
channel.
cable in a long time, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, me neither. But I
Yeah.
have.
I think it'll be
ways.
on a streaming service shortly
I can,
after that.
Peter, I can.
You got me.
That's all.
Because
I
I
can-
know
Okay.
what FX had Fargo, and they eventually put that onto Hulu. So they'll
Yep.
probably do something like that, where it's just a year later.
Yeah.
Let me come over, meet your new cat. I'll get
Of
you
course.
some. Get you some
There you
info
go.
on
Yeah.
the Roku. I can help you out.
If you
Have you named a new cat yet? By the way,
we're looking at Pizzelle or Pretzel.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
For now.
Fun name.
how about Stashy?
Stashy.
Two on the nose
I'll put it on. I'll put it on the list. Okay?
on the short list.
It'll
Little
make you
short-
happy.
No
That's
pretzel Jackie?
your way of saying fuck off,
I
Eugene.
thought you might like it.
Yeah, from Channel Zero. I do like it. Yeah. Also, if you can get me the director's cut of Midsummer, that'd be great. If you have.
Ooh, speaking of, next piece of news. Amazon Prime
wow.
announced that Nicholas McCarthy's The Prodigy and Ari Aster's Midsummer is going to be hitting
Midsommar.
Amazon Prime in January. So The Prodigy is going to come out on the 23rd of January, and Midsummer, Marcus,
Hey, man.
it'll
That's how
come out on the 3rd.
The
So right
theatrical
after
cut?
New Year's.
That's how it's correct.
I think it is the theatrical's cut. I don't think it's the director's cut.
Yeah, because I think it's only Apple that has the director's cut or something for streaming, like
That-
iTunes or something.
I know that the Amazon sometimes has both. You just
Yeah.
kind of gotta search
I
a little
hope
bit
so.
deeper on Amazon.
What's different, or you don't know?
I don't know. There's
What, the
just
director's
more
cut?
Footage, yeah. Just
Yeah, there's more.
footage.
There's more footage. There's a little more.
Wasn't that movie long enough already though?
Yeah, but if I'm only
I don't know.
watching
I kind of liked it. It had more into. It delved a little more into the two main characters' relationship. Like you get to see why the boyfriend's more of a dick in this one. So you get to see why it's more justified that he got spoilers burned up at the end in the bear outfit. And it didn't add any more gore or anything to it though.
Oh,
But it
useless
added
then.
more. It added a little bit more. There was more scenes of them tripping out and shit.
more
and-
story. Yuck.
Was there
Dripping
anything,
with
was there anything
sarcasm.
as funny as that one moment during the
All
sex
wet.
scene that made me laugh harder than any movie this year, basically?
Wow.
No, there wasn't more to that
one
sex
moment
scene.
that
You
had
saw
me
the director's
cracking
cut?
up.
Yeah.
Oh, because I know it was playing at theaters for like a week around here.
I think
didn't
so.
make
I think it did.
It was
It did
only
play
like
for
at
a
9
week.
o'clock or something.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna.
Eugene
sit
is
through-
keeping cinema alive in
He is.
Western
He's
New York.
yeah, very supportive.
When I found out about
Single-handedly.
what was it, the Kevin Smith movie that was traveling, I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'll catch that. And then you're like, nah, it's gone, man. It's long gone. That was
Gone.
a Fathom event. I was like, what?
or Three from Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was. There
I
for that.
actually I missed one of the terror screenings to go see Jay and Silent Bob Reboot.
Man,
I think it was which is the one that everybody was talking about. It was a great time.
Demon Wind.
I don't know.
No, I went to Demon Wind.
because you weren't
Was
there.
the
What was the
one
one?
before
What was the
Demon
one
Wind,
before
though?
that?
Burial Ground.
Burial Ground.
Oh.
That's what it was. I missed
Wow.
Burial Ground to go see Jay and Silent
Oh,
Bob Reboot.
Man.
Yeah, yeah, and I regret it.
Wait, wasn't it this season you missed? I thought it was this season you missed.
No, it was when
Was
Jay
it
and Silent Bob
Burial
Reboot came out.
Yeah.
So it was Burial Ground. Yeah.
Off topic. How was the reboot?
It wasn't good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just
yeah.
love that you support cinema, like in general.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
great,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a cinephile
Yeah.
through and through. Like I watch everything. Like my preferred genre is horror.
Right?
Horror is near and dear, and it's number one on my list. But I watch
What's
everything.
number 2?
Mm,
Action.
no.
For me, it's horror
No.
than comedy.
Yeah.
Horror. No, I think you know what I prefer. Like I don't know. Like a good drama for me.
Mm.
I can
Yeah.
see that.
What is
Horror,
a good,
drama, comedy.
What is a good
action.
drama to Eugene? I just want to get a feel for your taste in drama.
Yeah. Yeah. What's
we
like
always talk horror. We never ever
Yeah.
talk drama.
what's like a
Let's
good
see.
serious movie that's not
Yeah.
horror?
Fuck, man, a good serious movie.
I mean, it seems like you have a lot of knowledge about movies in general.
Well, with
Mm.
age comes knowledge, right?
You're a
Whoa,
Scorsese
man,
guy,
I'm
right?
So old. I mean, honestly, if we go for drama, we're talking about Scorsese. I mean, I thought The Irishman was a good movie. I thought it was
Same.
a really good movie.
Me too.
But like I said before we started recording, that movie could have benefited highly from being an hour shorter than it was.
Like most
You know,
movies that come out
by
nowadays.
by the end of the movie, we saw it in Kat and I watched it at the North Park Theater, which has the most uncomfortable seats in Western New York.
Yes.
I love North Park, but
we
you were
sat there
totally right.
3.5 hours. I think that's what kept me awake was the fact that the seats were so uncomfortable.
Like you said, yeah.
Or the seats were so uncomfortable, which kept me engaged in the movie. After the movie was over, Kat asked me how I liked it. I told her that I felt like I aged as quickly as the fucking characters did.
Not
But the movie was a great movie.
yeah, I don't want to get too much into your details, your bowels, but did you have to use the restroom during The Irishman in theaters?
Well, normally I drink a gallon of water a day, and
Yeah.
on top of that, so I'm always fucking pissing. But
Same.
normally for movies, though, if it's a movie that I'm really interested in, I'll hold my dick until the credits
You just
roll.
hold it.
I just hold it.
Literally, you
It
gotta do
gets
that
to the
sometimes.
point where I got to pee so bad. Like once minute 45, 47, I literally have to take my thumb and my forefinger and pinch the head of my dick so I don't piss my pants.
Now, isn't that
That's
more-
how bad it is.
Isn't that more distracting than just maybe getting up and going to the bathroom?
No,
real quick?
because I
No,
don't want to
man,
miss anything.
no.
Well, The Irishman's 3.5 hours. I mean, you would
Yeah.
rather be
And you know what's funny? I didn't have to
pinching
pee.
your dick for.
I'll pinch
for
my
two-
dick, yeah.
for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Rather than just go to the bathroom. Real quick.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
Eugene and I are the same person in this aspect.
I don't want to use the bathroom during a movie, but if I have to, I'd rather like.
I mean, if you
just
got to
get
go,
out
you got
of
to
the
go.
way
But
and
if it's a good
rather
movie,
than be
though, it's
distracted.
I don't want to miss
Oh, yeah,
anything
I
because I
mean,
don't want to go back. I don't want to go back and have to watch it again in the movie theaters or wait till it comes out on video
No, I'm with you.
or on cable to catch the part that I missed.
No,
As
I'm with
distracting
you.
as it is to have to hold it, it's more distracting to miss like 5 to 10 minutes. of it to
Yeah, and then
go
come
I
back
guess
and
it
be like, what
depends
did I
how
miss?
bad it is. I guess it depends on how bad it
It
is.
depends on the movie too. Yeah. I mean, if it's a movie that's just going like real shitty, like Black
The new Black
Christmas,
Christmas.
then I'll go piss every 10 minutes.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you for your opinion regarding
Anytime.
That movie.
That's what we're here for.
taking a new approach.
So back in news, while I'm holding my dick, this week it was announced that Mike Flanagan's 3-hour director's cut of Dr. Sleep will be
Let's
up
go.
digitally on January 21st, and then it's going to be released on Blu-ray on February 4th.
Day one for this guy getting
Peter,
that Blu-ray.
You and me both. You and me
Peter,
both.
I love you and I love Dr. Sleep, but isn't everything a day one for you?
No,
I feel like
No.
No, he didn't get it
You're
chapter
like
2 on
Mr.
day one.
Day one.
no, no.
Yeah,
I
like,
believe
That's your new nickname. Peter
I've-
Vulo,
your
Mr.
Twitter
Day
handle.
One.
That's a
Day
great
one.
name. That's a great name, actually.
It is.
No, but I've been trying to be a little more reserved.
Uh-huh.
With
Your Instagram feed kind of says otherwise.
I mean, that's just a lot of backstock. I mean, I got a lot of movies. I got a lot of movies. It's my passion.
Oh, well, partial.
So Mike Flanagan says that it's a finished, complete, and fully polished new cut of the movie. There's new material throughout the whole film. There's brand new scenes and extended or altered scenes as well. He also
I'm
promises
drooling.
that there's going to be some surprises that he won't spoil.
I just love
And-
looking over at him every time
and
you
well-
say something.
And I'm happy because it comes with the theatrical cut. If you don't include
Yeah.
both cuts, I would be upset because I want the movie I watched in theaters. But I'm totally cool with having a bunch of new shit. But you have to give me the option to.
But you know
enjoy
what? There's
both.
also going to be a new feature that you're going to appreciate. The cut is also going to break the film up into chapters like a novel. What?
Yes.
Well,
Let's go.
headbanging.
Peter just went
What?
from 6 to midnight.
Ooh, yeah.
Peter is headbanging.
Can't wait.
saw that? You saw that?
Hopefully, I can finish. I can read the book and before that Blu-ray comes out. So
Yeah, there's gonna be some changes, and I guess there's gonna be a change to the ending also. So maybe it'll be
Whoa.
closer to the book. Who knows? You know, I mean, obviously everybody here. Dan, did you see
I
Dr.
did
Sleep?
not. I did
Oh,
not
man.
see. I'm
See,
one of the
wait,
guys.
You're the
Wait,
problem.
that's
You're one of the
Well, Star
problem.
Wars opening weekend.
I
though.
did.
And
Oh,
never
wow.
see it
Yeah.
again.
give Disney your money. They're hurting for
They're
it.
hurting.
Sorry, not sorry.
They're hurting for it.
Disney's
They
the
are.
devil.
So since some of you guys, Peter, like Tawny and Hill House and love Dr. Sleep, but then other people like myself and Marcus did not like Honey and Hill House. Oh, Dan, you liked Honey and Hill
I'm
House.
the
It was
only one in
Dan,
the
yeah,
room.
it was
Oh,
I'm
it
the
was
only
Dan.
one in the
Yeah,
room.
okay, Peter,
I
you
tapped
disliked
out.
it.
Yeah, I tapped out.
I mean, what do you guys' opinion on Mike Flanagan personally? I mean, he did Haunting of Hill House.
I never met him.
He did Dr. Sleep. He did, now he's doing Haunting of Bly Manor. We'll see how that comes out. Supposedly that's going to be scarier than Hill House.
I liked of his movies that I've seen. I've enjoyed them. I thought Gerald's Game was really fantastic.
Yeah.
And
That was good, yeah.
Hush was really good.
I liked Hush. I
Yeah.
didn't see all of Gerald's Game,
Yeah.
and I really liked Dr. Sleep.
Yeah. So
Haunting of Hill House, though.
yeah, it was the couple episodes I watched. I mean, he knows what
That's
he's
cool, man.
doing.
Like fuck my favorite. It's fine.
He knows what he's doing, but just
He
for that
just said
particular.
fuck my face.
Oh, fuck my favorite.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Hashtag fuck my favorites. But he knows what he's doing regardless. I haven't seen Oculus or
Ugh.
I don't know if he's done anything else prior to that or whatever.
Oculus
But
was terrible.
I feel like he's got some good movies in him.
He's definitely competent. He knows what he's doing, but
Yeah.
Hill House was just way too long for me. Like I was telling you guys, I think before
Yeah.
we started recording, I didn't want to wait several episodes in for something to actually happen.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't.
Well, the whole story and backstory and everything to it was just fucking dumb. The only thing, this is actually going to be the last time that I talk about this. I can see the smoke coming out of Dan's ears
fine.
from my peripheral
Yeah,
vision
yeah.
here. The only cool thing about that fucking TV show was again how he hid all the ghosts in all the scenes inside the house, like
Yeah.
little like Easter eggs and shit. Like it was a scavenger hunt. And honestly, that's the only thing that kept me interested, and that's the only reason that I watched it from first episode to last episode.
So
Because for the rest of it was just a big bore.
I imagine you didn't get the director's cut Blu-ray or whatever that came out recently, right? Of
Nope.
Hill House,
Nope.
like all the longer extended episodes.
Nope. Not going to either. Absolutely not.
Did you get it, Dan?
No,
Uh,
I did because I can just watch
Did you
it on
get it,
Netflix.
Peter?
Fuck. So,
Peter,
no, we
watch
don't
it on
get
Netflix.
physical media anymore. No, I didn't buy it.
Okay.
No, I didn't buy it.
It's going to be crazy because a lot of people are, poo-pooing and DVDs are starting to go the way of video cassettes and VCRs and shit and turning into dead technology. But I read an article a couple of weeks ago about how physical media, it seems like eventually it's going to end up making a comeback
Mhm.
because with all these streaming services and all this shit, how like let's say Shudder, for instance, they'll throw a movie on there or a few movies on there, and then they'll keep them there for like a month or two, and then take them away, and then they won't go back in rotation for another
Sure.
few months or another year or two. Whereas physical media, a lot of people want what they want
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
And it's a lot easier to just grab a DVD that you have in your collection for a movie you want to watch and pop it in than look through Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, Vudu, any of these places and get it. Like I have a friend right now. She's huge into movies, and her husband had a huge DVD collection. They gave away most of their DVDs
damn.
because all they do is stream movies now. If they feel like watching a movie, they'll just look it up on Amazon or whatever, pay the $3.99 or whatever to watch the movie, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's fucking crazy.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
guilty of streaming movies on Prime if they're included in Prime, even
Yeah.
if I have the DVD. But if I had to pay again for it, if I had the DVD, I'm getting the DVD.
correct. Yeah. You know, and with the DVDs, you could just watch as many times as you want. It still comes with the extras and everything.
Commercials.
No commercials. You know, it's just, and then we got the 4K, the Blu-ray, all that shit. So the quality's top notch. But I don't know, with this streaming thing, I think it's too much now. Like,
I completely agree.
it's ridiculous.
It's kind of like what's happening with like comic books, where the paper medium, you can get it digitally, right? But as soon as they stop making physical media of comic books, it's not going to be as worth as much, right? But eventually they're going to stop printing them.
Yeah.
And those books, even if it's a shitty whatever issue, because it was one of the last to be printed on paper, is going to make it worth more.
You think that'll actually happen? There's going to be a point where there's no print
For a little
media?
bit. For a little bit.
I don't think so.
I feel like
Maybe, I don't know.
With comic
Okay.
books,
So
because they're losing more money than they're making.
you don't think there's going to be periodicals like magazines and stuff?
I think there will
anymore?
be the trades, but I don't think there's going to be
Individual issues?
So we'll bring it back to horror. There is one issue of Ash versus Freddy versus Jason that is out of print in the physical collected edition. You could get the individual issues, but that one collected is now going for $125, which is stupid.
That's
right?
for a single issue.
No, that's for the whole series.
Okay,
but if
gotcha.
you wanted the individual issues, you could get them, and they would be at face value, which was the comic book. I think was $3 or $4.
Yeah.
But they all want the collected, right? So it's this weird flux and fake demand for things because that issue is out of print because they only could get the rights for a certain amount of time, made it, and now it's done. But that's also like, I mean, Disney is doing it with the Fox stuff. They're drumming up this fake demand for things that are no longer out there. And it's
vault.
what's gonna happen, right? But I can't believe they gave away all those DVDs, man. Like,
That's crazy.
it's crazy. I mean, like, I'm tracking down movies that I'm like, I just want it on DVD because I don't want to spend $3 on to rent it, and then it's just gone. It's poof. Like, I have 48 hours from the time I start till it's over. Like, it's getting kind of Wild West out there. Of like, you almost want to go to the flea markets and be like, I'm gonna just grab all of this shit and hold on to it.
That's me, man.
Because it's gonna go the way of the buffalo soon. And like what was that Sleepaway Camp box set you posted? You can't find that
If you
stuff
wanted that, you should have told me. I would have hooked you up, man.
Oh, well,
but it's like,
now you know.
I'll take it.
but now it's one of those
Well,
like
you have it now.
you can't find that set anymore.
No.
You know, and
Not
like
that
nobody's
impressed by it.
reprinting
2000s.
it. You know, like that stuff's, and you can't find the individual movies anymore, really, unless they do those random one-offs from like Diabolic and.
Well,
And
that's what I was going to talk about. Like, I feel like I don't know the details of the comic book world necessarily, but in terms of like Blu-rays and stuff, I think it's going to become more niche in the future. Like, it's going to serve a particular audience,
like the Criterion Collection.
Yeah, like you have your Criterion, you have your Synapse Films. They recently released the original Suspiria on 4K. Then you got your Vinegar Syndrome, your Scream Factory, your Severin Films. All these companies make a ton of super obscure horror movies and they put them on Blu-ray or whatever. I mean, I just bought Tammy and the T-Rex on Blu-ray, but I could have bought 4K, you know, and that was from Vinegar Syndrome, you know. So, and they just put out Spookies on Blu-ray, you know. I talked about that last time. But so these are like, new Blu-rays are coming out and people are buying them. You know what I mean? Myself included. There's a market, but the market's going to get increasingly smaller. But the market you do have is going to be ravenous. You know what I mean? Like, I bought Tammy and the T-Rex as soon as it was available to buy. You know what I mean? Never thinking that movie.
How much better is the gore cut versus the original
I've never seen
cut?
the original cut. I've
Okay,
only
'cause
seen the gore.
I've seen the original cut,
gore
and I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't need the gore cut in my life because the original was just.
I think it's going to kind of go the way of Japan, where things are going to, like, this physical media is going to be worth a lot more.
Oh yeah,
and it's going to be more expensive to the point where you're going to drop $40 to $60 on just a DVD.
Yeah, I mean,
of this stuff.
Stuff like that's already. If you want to get a Blu-ray from a boutique label, I mean, you know, it's like $30 if you want to buy it like brand new, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? But I can't buy them all. I will buy the ones that most speak to me. But I will, as long as I have money to buy them, I will. As long as I can support them, you know what I mean?
But it's not going to be the days of it's Tuesday and there's 20 new movies out and I'm getting 15 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, those days are over.
Back in my
those
retail
days are over.
that was totally me. And,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know when the next
Yeah.
time these movies were going to be out, or
The
holy
shelf
shit,
space
they're
is- yeah.
releasing, like Three Ninjas, like holy
Yeah.
crap, like Ninjas Knuckle Up,
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, the shelf space at these stores is getting increasingly smaller every time you go. At Best Buy or Target, you want to go get a Blu-ray or something. It's
and it's
smaller
funny how they're
smaller.
inconsistent with each store.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Where
You
it's
have your
like-
flagship stores and your little,
Yeah, the-
rinky-dink ones.
The Boulevard one has a massive DVD section
Mhm.
versus
Of which one? Which
Uh,
store?
FYE?
the Best Buy.
Oh, Best Buy.
Yeah. And then Best Buy is doing pretty good for me on movies there, but
Yeah,
like then
I
you
bought
go to the
a couple things yesterday at Best Buy. They had the Chuck Norris Silent Rage.
Oh my God.
And I got one directed by Sean Cunningham, the guy who did Friday the 13th, called The New Kids.
Have you ever seen the New Kids?
I haven't, no.
Let me know what you think.
I will. They have these cool like retro VHS slipcovers on them and stuff.
Yeah.
They're, like super cheap, and I didn't already own them, so I got them. Barnes and Noble had like a 50% off Blu-ray sale, and I bought a bunch of things there too. You know, like so if it's there and it's at a reasonable price, I'm gonna get it. So I still love the feeling of being able to go to a store and just buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and
Yeah.
have it. Rather than ordering online and it take the shipping and handling and the time it takes. It's not a big deal, but there's something nice about being able to go to a store and just look through and
Yeah, look
peruse
through,
and
throw the
get stuff
hunt,
that you want,
all that
you know
stuff.
what I mean?
Oh, I
It's
love
just-
the hunt.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
hunt is. I mean,
It's just
Yeah.
nowadays though with this generation, it's all online. It's all online shopping. It's all online ordering. It's all like the days of scouring the stores, going from store to store,
yeah, it's
looking for a
instant
certain
gratification.
version, a collector's edition of something or anything. Like those days are over, man. Those days
I
are
don't
gone.
know. I mean, we are here. We might not.
We're
have big
here, but we're in the
numbers.
minority now.
Yeah,
What's the
we might
furthest
not-
you've driven for something?
I mean, there's times that I've gone to like as many Best Buys in the area that I can go to, or Target or whatever, to find something specific. You know what I mean?
We're
Like,
in a weird area for that kind of stuff
Yeah.
because the fact that you can drive 20 minutes, 30 minutes in any direction
yeah.
and hit 7 stores
Mhm.
for this stuff is
Yeah.
kind of like crazy to
Yeah.
me.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why we gotta keep. I mean, I don't know how I feel about supporting big corporations, obviously, but if you can buy the physical thing in a physical store, you might as well. You know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I mean? But I mean, I'm out there at these antique malls, these antique stores.
I once
looking.
drove Peter to a garage sale,
Yeah.
and he was pouring through boxes of VHS tapes. I've never seen him happier.
Oh, because I was the only person there looking through the tapes, and
you know
it
you're
was
gonna find a
just-
gem.
Well,
We
it,
found a
it was
bunch of gems.
all like it was just a treasure trove. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're in a nice home now. I watched at least a few of them already. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? On my VCR, people call it VHS player now for some reason.
What?
But it's a
People are
VCR.
VCR.
It's a VCR.
Yeah.
I have that hooked up right now. I could play whatever. You know what I mean? And there's really no difference. Of course, if
Those are really hard to find. The
what,
VCRs.
VCR. No, people say that, but it's like go to a thrift
They're
store.
not,
I'll get
yeah.
you one right now if you want. I'll get you
Super
one right
cheap
now.
too. Yeah.
I'll get you a decent VCR right now.
Yeah, but I mean now, but you can't. Like, what do you have your VCR hooked up to though?
My flat screen TV. I don't have like a little the tube.
You don't have like
anymore. I
you don't
mean,
have an adapter. You have an adapter or something?
no, you
Because
just
I
plug in
can't.
with the 3 colored cords: the red, the
Yellow, red,
yellow,
white.
and
Yellow,
that
red,
one.
white.
Yeah, you just.
Oh.
yeah.
All right.
I'm sure there's probably also a converter.
So I got 2 VCRs at home, and I can't hook them up to anything right
Does
now.
your,
I-
does your
I-
flat screen doesn't have the 3 color cables?
I think it does, but I didn't know that. I thought maybe there needed to be like a HDMI adapter
you
or
can get
some
that
shit that you
adapter
can
if you
do.
wanted
I'm pretty
to,
sure that's
yeah.
a
For-
composite
for
cable,
the-
right?
Is it?
Yeah, that's,
Yep.
yeah, S cable or something like that. I don't
No,
know.
I-
Shit, I'm excited now.
I drove to Rochester recently
Did
for
you go
a
to the
figure.
Record Archive?
No,
Oh,
I
that place
love
is
that place.
awesome.
I love that place.
Go
But,
if you like physical media. Go to the Record Archive in Rochester.
Really?
They have tapes, DVDs, all
Ooh.
collectibles. It's great.
I missed that the hunt.
Why
And
didn't you
like
suggest we go there when we were in Rochester?
We didn't have time. I don't think.
that's the hard part. Is like there's all this stuff you want to do in certain places, but
Yeah.
it's I recently for a figure I drove to a Rochester Target in Henry.
What sort of figure?
It was a Star Wars figure.
Of course it was.
Jesus Christ, guys.
There were 6. There were 6 in the box, and and I was able to get what I wanted. And
That's
it's-
great, man.
But it's one of those like literally checking on the road to like, do they still have?
No,
an
I would do
inventory?
that.
That's the
Yeah.
only thing
That's
I love
awesome.
about
That's awesome.
technology with this stuff. Like when you're on the hunt and
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, like it's still in inventory, it's still there,
Yeah.
but like even with like certain movies, like it's hard to find like the right cut. Like that's where I think that's where it becomes like super fun. Like, oh, this VHS, this has that one cut.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I mean, have you gone to the extent of like converting any of it, like trying to like get it into like a digital space so that you could?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah.
I know, Marcus, you have some
My
capabilities
VCR
to
is
do that.
hooked up to my computer.
Your
I can do
VHS
that.
Yeah.
player.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Nice.
I transfer all my old home movies over, and I'm working on Jamie's all their family's home movies. as
Wow, I
well.
might have to give you some work.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah,
like it
holy
is
shit.
something like to at least have that. Like I know you guys have been ragging on it, but like Star Wars, like you can't find those cuts.
I have those
Nope.
on the uncut the uncut
DVDs?
versions on the tape. I have the ones that without all
The special
metal.
editions or the ones before the special editions?
The last edition
The
that didn't have
extra
any of the
special edition.
tinkering.
Well-
The pre-tinkering tapes.
There, well, like it was cool with like eBay, like talking about the tape collecting. Like there was a guy that was like, you could buy the original 3 from
On
the
Blu-ray.
laser disc,
Yeah,
and he was like converting them
Yeah.
for you, like taking the giant laser discs
yeah.
and making them because that was the only way you could get it.
Mhm.
That's cool.
And it was super cool. And it's like I wish some of these like hard to find horror films would be out there.
Mhm.
Oh, there's a place that I like called VHS PS. So they have a huge library, and they just take the tape and then they just put it on
Is this a physical store or is this a?
It's a website.
Okay.
And so you just look through their menu, and they have a ton of VHS, and you pick what movie you want, and they send you the DVD. Like
Oh wow.
I watched, it's bootlegs, of course, but that's how I first watched the movie Elves. So if you haven't seen Elves yet,
I have those.
okay, sorry, I just know it's
Christmas.
Christmas horror. I know that's
You
why I
didn't see
mentioned
my
to you.
sweater? Come on.
It's a great sweater, but yeah, Elves, Spookies, and there was a bunch of movies that Phantom of the Mall that aren't
Eric's
available.
Revenge.
Good movie.
Huh?
Subtitle. Phantom
Yeah,
of the Mall,
Eric's Revenge, yeah. That I hadn't seen before because they weren't really readily available anywhere. And then I just went to this VHSPS.com and ordered a bunch, and they have usually a 50% off sale a couple times a year. So boom, boom, boom. It's just all, now I can watch these movies that aren't available anywhere else, So I will support physical media.
I wish
you
they
go.
would somebody would open an old like mom and pop rental place, because I think it would do gangbusters right
I
now.
feel
Do
like-
you think it would do gangbusters? You know what? I was thinking about that recently because I'm always looking for ideas to open up like a new business and something that's niche and something that isn't around. And that was one of the ideas that I was throwing around, is doing like an old like mom and pop old style VHS/DVD rental shop. But I don't know how good it would how well it would do, because you mentioned a place early in the episode, Mondo Video.
Yeah.
Mondo Video used to do decent business over on Elmwood in the house, and only because they had stuff that nobody else had.
Yeah.
And the foreign movies and just shit that out of print, and just stuff that's really hard to find. But I honestly, thinking about it, I think it's a cool novelty
Yeah.
to have, but I don't think business wise it's not a good business model, because I don't think a lot of people will stop in and rent a movie per se, only because because of the whole digital thing and the downloading and the streaming. Nowadays people are fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Instead of going to an actual store and looking for something, they'd rather just look it up on the computer or look it up on the TV and with a remote. And like I said, they want it now. Nobody wants to hunt it. Although it's an awesome idea, but unless you have the money to keep it afloat and the capital to keep it afloat,
Mhm.
I don't think it'll be a viable business, even though
I
it
mean,
would be super cool.
I think the thrill of, I think at opening it would be packed.
yes.
But it would dwindle over time.
Yes.
I'd love to think there's going to be an awesome mom and pop like physical media place I could go to. I would love that. But I have watched those places I love to go to just close.
Yeah.
Record Theater, for example.
Yeah.
I used to go there all the time. They had like 20% off on Saturdays or something like that.
Yep.
And I would go buy my Scream Factory Blu-rays and stuff there. Whatever I could buy something there, I would. And then, I just like that experience. I mean, I just like going to Barnes and Noble and looking at the magazines, or like, that goes back to me loving to go to Media Play as a kid. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? When you
Yeah.
could look at all that stuff. I don't know if that desire is in other people these days, the younger generation
It's
or
not.
whatever coming up. But, but you look at those like they're pretty much art exhibits of like slashback video and stuff of like everyone making it look like an old school like
Mhm.
VHS shop and stuff. I mean, there's a novelty aspect to it, but will it be able to survive? I don't know. It depends on also your area. if it has a nice ravenous horror fan base like Buffalo, turns out we do have a really hardcore horror fan base, would turn out to support that. I mean, we do have a desire for it. Look at that Pulp 716 place, the comic book bubble tea place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very small operation, but I've been there sometimes just to get the bubble tea because it's good. You know what I mean? So I guess it depends on what about the place brings people in. You know what I mean? Like,
it couldn't just be a video place, but look at like Family Video. That place has got what, 4 locations, and they're still doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think they
keep
figured
closing locations though.
Yeah.
But the ones that we have here, again, it's that weird area of Western New York being like, no, I'd rather get up and go out and do that.
I like Redbox.
Like, I was about to say, Redbox is still a thing.
I still rent movies from them.
I figured those would have died out a year or two ago.
But I mean, like, if you did like a partnership with like a 716 or something like that, and we're like, we're going to do a pop-up shop for 3 months, that novelty, it's low risk, high reward, right? Because it's only here for a certain amount of time, like Slashback.
Yeah.
And then people, like, you create this demand for it. And if it does become something that you could get into it, I think it could work. I think it could. I mean, like, you'd have to be something on top of what it is. But, I mean, I think it could be fun. I mean.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always think it's at least worth trying. You know, whether, I mean, obviously you don't want anyone to go bankrupt on a
I mean, you'd have to own the building,
you know or
like it'd be like like I said, a pop-up shop. I mean,
that's definitely something I wanted to do at the theater, like for a terror screening, do like an 80s night, you know, and, you know, maybe put up a little rack of VHS and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just for fun.
Well, I think that's the hard part is now all the posters are so.
Everything is a collector's market.
Yep.
I mean,
and like, and there's all like, well, even the newer movies, it's just like they're farming it out, get it out there, get it up there. It needs to be this. If it's too artistic, you immediately like, look at the Parasite poster. You're like, what the hell? Like, I don't get, how is that what it is? And then you eventually disconnect. Whereas like when we would walk through those you knew like the better the artwork, the worse the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that artwork is key. That's why I love what you're doing for terrors, because obviously a lot of these movies people haven't heard of, like Demon Wind, for example. But your artwork has almost that quality, that like lurid quality of the VHS tapes, you know, where it color and it popped and something about it.
Look at the poster. The poster looks awesome.
Yeah.
Might as well check out the movie.
It out. I mean,
But that's what I mean is like that's stuff.
We've lost the art of posters.
Oh,
really,
well,
more
of
or
even
less.
like the cover.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah, it's the most.
That's why I want
basic version of whatever the art could be. You know what I mean? Because everyone is scared to have personality. They want to reach the most amount of people, and by doing that, you lose almost any, I don't know, courage in it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Soul.
Yeah. No, that's partly true.
All right, so
That's why I'm
I'm
such a
calling it
curmudgeon.
right now. Then I'm calling it right now. I think all 4 of us should get together and do the Gore 4 video store.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm down to try.
I like that
I'm
name.
down to try.
I have no
All 4 of
capital to
us.
invest currently because, you know, weddings are expensive.
Oh.
But later on, yes, I might be able to throw some money in.
Marcus could be the old guy behind the counter.
Great. Yes.
The
was
movie
born-
know-it-all
I was
born
that'll
to be
just
the old guy
pass
behind the
judgment on you on
you're
what you're
renting that?
renting. Oh, you're renting that
Yeah.
shit?
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure you watch
Oh,
that?
There
you
we
want
go.
this? Are
I
you
did
ready
that
for
back
it?
in my retail days. I gladly do it again.
Oh man,
I wish I would.
I really like their store, but the guy behind the counter.
Fuck.
Oh,
No, man,
He makes you feel so
an asshole to
dumb.
my customers, but anytime I see any of them, my regulars, they're like, "When you coming back?" And I'm like, "When are they going to give me a set schedule and more pay?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's retail. It's probably not going to happen." I'm like, "Yeah, exactly."
Okay, bye.
So
Well, but you know, I kind of like how like each piece of news is going into like this huge discussion.
Well,
Well,
we had no-
segues
we had
into
no-
all
we
sorts
had
of
no
stuff.
plan for this episode.
No, I know.
I'd love to go to a place that just a horror store. I'd love to be able to go there.
There
and
were
go,
a
there's
bunch of
going to
them
be
here.
nothing but horror novels, nothing but horror comic books,
Yeah.
nothing but horror Funkos.
So, Peter, would you
nothing
call
but
it a
action
store?
figures. Huh?
Would you call it a store? Like horror store?
Wow.
I feel like
That's pretty good store. I like that.
Yeah, I figured-
That's good.
I figured you
That's
did.
good. But anyway, I would just love, you know, when you nerds go and to get a comic book and it's just all the crap that you like,
Ooh.
you know, the Avengers, all that garbage.
Oh, Dan, he just
Wow.
Imagine if I could go
Jesus
to a place.
Christ.
If I could go to a place,
Wow.
imagine if I could go to a place and look around and it's like, this is all shit I love. You know what I mean? Like, this is all stuff that I can get for me. Like, instead of posters of
Which would be
Batman, there's a
awesome,
poster
and
of
it's
Freddy or something.
awesome. in the idea stage.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I
when you
can
think
see
about
it.
a business
see it, like, my
that's viable
pupils
to make
dilate.
money, it's not going to make money.
No,
It's just-
I
it's
know,
just not
but
gonna make
that
money.
would be fantastic.
So you
I
want
guess.
somebody
Yeah.
else to do that for you?
I mean, I could do it, but like, I just don't want to like go bankrupt to try to do something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, but I mean, like niche stuff is always going to be
yeah, but aren't comic books a niche in themselves?
not anymore. They're pop culture.
No, just
They've
because
always been.
just because Avengers Endgame made a ton of money doesn't mean people are going to go out to those stores to buy their comic books. Man.
No, you always see a
No,
spike.
yeah,
you
no,
always
I
see
mean,
a spike.
It's always it's back and
You were
forth. You
just
got
saying they're going to stop printing comic books.
But yeah, but like when a new movie comes out, like I got
Yeah.
a friend who works for a company here that literally is like he'll go to travel to the United States at these conventions and he'll have people come up to him being like, "Hey, so do you got blah 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 with numbers 173? Oh, you're a huge Red Baron fan? You're like because that's where he first appears. Oh, no, yeah, I've always loved Red Baron. Oh, you just give a shit because he's in the Black Widow trailer.
Mhm.
And now you want to cash in on that stuff. But you literally see a spike
literally,
in like the comic books where it's like everybody all of a sudden wants to try and get over on somebody who owns a shop
Yep.
that doesn't know that they have it and they're going to gobble it up and then flip it.
Yeah.
So
But,
is that what's keeping comic book shops alive? Is that Marvel's making movies out of their properties?
They
and
definitely
that people
go hand
have
in
a
hand.
desire
Oh, yeah.
to go buy issues because
Yes.
now it's a movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, like if you look at the horror
It's the exact same thing of say like what you do when you hear like there's a horror movie coming out. Let's go Doctor Sleep.
Yeah.
You haven't read it yet.
No.
The movie was going to come out.
Sure.
You heard the movie was coming out. It was coming out. So that put a fire under your ass to buy the book, right? To read it,
I bought,
to read The Shining, and to read Doctor
Yes.
Sleep.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah, I bought the book at Savers used.
but like
$3.
but,
But
that's-
still
but that's
you
the
went and
point,
tracked
though.
it
I
down.
did,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So now, what if there was a store
Yeah.
for me that I could go to and know that they're going to have all kinds of great editions of Stephen King books?
Well,
They're
you
gonna
horror
have
nerds
all the
are all you
NECA
guys are
action
talking
figures.
about is just like
You horror nerds.
It'd just be nice for me to buy a bubble tea.
No, it
and
would be. It would be.
to
Absolutely.
get the new Fangoria.
absolutely.
Yes.
I completely
It would be
agree.
great.
Because there
Speaking
were
of,
a
is there a
couple
new
shops.
issue coming out soon? It seems like it's
there-
been forever
VFW,
since the new issue.
The movie VFW is supposed to be on the cover. I saw it. I'm
Ah,
just
okay.
waiting to hear from our boys at the
Cool.
Queen City there.
Queen City.
Queen
Amel
City
and
Bookstore
Amel.
shout out.
VFW, like volunteer fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bunch of like
Old
like
guys.
older iconic actors. They are at the VFW and it gets overtaken like via like Siege
What
movie.
older iconic actors?
I don't know.
They got Stephen Lang,
yeah.
George Wendt, William Sadler,
Okay, I was
Fred
wondering if it was
Williamson.
like,
Yeah, yeah,
I
Fred
was wondering if
Williamson.
it was like the usual suspects.
But-
like
but
no
that-
offense
so-
to him, like Tony Todd. and,
So
like,
then,
No, no.
to my understanding, it becomes like a Siege movie where these mutant punks have to
Okay.
fight the VFW
Yep.
VFW guys.
That sounds like fun.
It sounds awesome.
It does.
Might be
The
fun.
poster looks pretty cool too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Is there
that
a trailer
neon
yet for
black
that
light
or
type
no?
deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there a trailer yet for that or no?
I don't know.
No.
I try to
No, not yet.
avoid them. But
See,
Just a poster came out.
There was a convention I went to in Toronto that had like a horror, and that was awesome. Like seeing all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But I think it's so niche still that you have to do these one-off
Yeah, but
weekend
but they
things.
have those massive horror cons in like was it Texas Frightmare or whatever that one is.
Yeah,
like,
but it's only 3 days, 4 days.
and then there's the Horror Hound ones in the Midwest or whatever. So.
I mean, I think a store would be awesome, but and there were a couple when I first moved here,
yeah,
but I don't know what happened. It was mostly like mask shops and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and all the like you could get some T-shirts and stuff
Sure.
like that. But
yeah, it would be nice if there was a mixture between they had new stuff and old stuff, you know. Because sometimes I don't normally if I'm buying a book, I don't like to get the movie tie-in cover, but you know,
I hate those covers
most of the time. But you know, sometimes I want to get it like, ooh, that's a really nice looking old hardcover version of the movie of the book. You know, I'd love to get that. So you know, there's sometimes like I want something new and then I want something old. I'd love to have the option. You know,
Mhm.
to it's cool that Target's got those NECA figures now.
Yeah.
you know that seems like they have a lot of Predator shit though, which is
Well,
a great movie. But you know,
well,
give me
They got
some of the other-
Predator, Friday the 13th,
NECA's been
Gremlins,
banging those
It.
stuff out because they
Lot
of-
sell.
a
Yeah,
lot of
They
Predator
sell.
shit.
Yep.
Whereas like
it's quality.
the Hellraiser stuff, nobody. It's like, yeah, I know that Pinhead's the guy in the franchise, but that's about it. Like, not very many people have watched that movie, Present Company excluded. You know,
Yeah.
like
I've only seen the first one. I've never seen any of the sequels.
Are you serious?
I
I
love
don't
the second
believe
one.
I
Eugene
have.
loves
I
Hellraiser.
may have seen
I
some
do.
of the sequels.
Do you-
I just don't remember, but I don't think I have.
Did you? I mean, I know you've probably seen all of them, but like
Mhm.
the second, like after the second one, it gets a little weird, right?
I like the first 4.
Okay, yeah.
The first one was obviously iconic. The second one was a direct sequel to the first one, which is why I liked it. The third one was Hell on Earth, which was
It's weird.
okay.
Yeah.
It was weird, but it had Pinhead back to being like an evil motherfucker. And then the fourth one was Bloodlines, which I just liked because it was an anthology movie, and it told the history of the Lambent Configuration puzzle box
Okay.
and how it was created and all that.
That's-
And it had
okay.
Pinhead in space, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So, but after that, the rest of the sequels fucking sucked dick. I hated them all.
Ouch.
I love
Yeah.
that Leviathan documentary that was
Yes.
on Shudder.
Yep.
Ooh.
That
We're
was
gonna
good.
watch the
That was
Tom
good.
Savini doc.
Yeah, I love
Oh yeah,
their
that was
documentaries.
it Smoke and Mirrors or what's it
Yeah.
called?
Did that just
Man,
come out? Did
it's
you
on
watch
Shudder.
that already?
No, I haven't seen it
Okay,
yet.
so we gotta.
I
That
wish
just
like
came out.
Shudder
Next.
would do like pop-up shops. Like just with like stuff like, oh, do you love that? Here it is on Blu-ray. Or you
Yeah,
want the
yeah.
poster, like just
Yeah,
some
yeah.
stuff like that, like just all over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
It creates these experiences.
Are you
and that's I
listening,
think
Shutter?
I'm
I
telling you, man, the
I still
Gore
gotta finish
4
watching
video
Creep
store
I gotta still finish watching Creep
for
Show.
all your horror needs.
Yeah.
Really, you haven't finished Creep Show?
No.
Wow.
I mean,
Uh,
some episodes were good, some episodes weren't. So
Yeah.
That, You can say that about any show, though.
I know, but
You know,
I mean,
not every episode is going
I
to be a home
wouldn't
run.
rush to finish it.
I got to,
personally.
man. I got to. I have to. I feel obligated as.
Well, you're obviously
Yes.
not rushing because you would have finished it if you were rushing to finish it.
That's true, but I eventually will.
I'm rewatching Tales from the Crypt.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
And
did I.
there are some you're like, I know how this is gonna end. But
Phenomenally. Is
you're
what you
still
mean.
like,
Not all
wow,
of
I
them.
can't believe they got so and so in this episode
Mhm.
and like all that stuff. And it's just blowing my mind
Remember
how
the time we brought the Crypt Keeper to the theater?
yeah, I wish you would do that again.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Great time.
Man.
Now we got what? Nickel City Con's going to be coming up soon, right?
Yeah,
May, right? Yeah.
May.
In May?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You heard
and
it?
they've announced. They've only announced 1 or 2 people, right? I know they got
Yeah.
Michael Rooker coming,
Mhm, Yeah.
and that's about it
Slither-
for horror
Slither
right
Slither.
now.
would get nice
Slither.
terrors. I
Yeah.
feel like that one did
I don't
not-
know.
Ooh, Slither,
yeah.
yeah.
Slither's. Yeah,
Slither
that'd be
was
a good
not
one.
too good, not too highly seen in theaters. So I feel like it
No.
might a lot of people. went
Yeah, but
Slither
so I mean,
radar.
Henry Porter, a serial killer, wasn't either. But
Yeah.
that I don't know.
yeah, but I feel
Would
like
that
Slither's
fit
more
for
of a
terrors
movie.
though?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people will come out and see it, especially since he's going to be there. you
Yeah.
know? I mean, I know I'd eventually love to get to screen something like the original Maniac and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's
That would
only a
be
matter
cool.
of time. But they also announced the guy who played Gilman in the original Creature from the Black Lagoon
Oh wow.
is going to be there. I think he was just a guy in the underwater suit, if I'm not mistaken. I'd
Oh,
have to look
wow.
it up. But they got somebody from one of the original Universal Monsters movies, so that's
Jesus
pretty
Christ,
cool.
how old is he?
Yeah, pretty old. But I figure if they're gonna have Rooker here, he's probably gonna do one of the Marvel movies. If I were to be a betting man,
I don't know,
you what I
man.
mean?
Disney's really stingy with that stuff, given the rights to show anything.
Yeah.
Like and
But those just came out though, like the Guardians.
I mean, he's
and
only in
Even
Guardians of the
still,
Galaxy
it's
1 and
pretty
2.
well.
That's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
they probably have
So-
a better shot at showing Mallrats.
Oh yeah.
I would totally do Slither. I mean, I haven't really,
Slither seems like a fun.
Slither
I
might
haven't
be
really
fun.
gone
This
into
movie.
details with anybody yet, regarding that stuff. But I would love to do Slither, with him there. He seems like he'd be a really good guest.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, are you gonna tell anybody about the season?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh okay.
Mum's the word.
Oh okay. Sorry.
That's
You're among friends, Peter.
yeah,
I mean,
Peter,
you
Peter's
guys
the
could ask
epitome of
me if
secrecy.
you wanted
no
to.
one listens
Oh,
to this podcast.
oh, sorry. Sorry.
Wow.
You're gonna
Wow.
find out I paint houses.
Oh. Oh God.
If
Little
only
Irishman
you've only
reference.
seen The Irishman.
Yeah,
8-hour
I don't
long
get
movie.
It.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I was playing to the crowd.
Oh okay.
So we got one more piece of news.
Oh, we're still doing the news. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
back at it. So do we have any Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles fans
No.
here? No, really? That's fucking surprising.
Wait, are you one
Especially
of them?
with you. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah. I've been a fan since high school.
no shit.
I'm not a fan of everything. I'm not a fan of Haunting a Hill House. All right. So there we go.
And it found a way to
All
come
right.
back.
And
up.
it came back around. I'm not a
Besides
fan of
Haunting a
Pet
Hill House.
Cemetery, the new one.
Wow.
I'm not a fan. There's a lot of shit
I
I'm
know,
not a fan
only
of.
my girlfriend is.
Oh my
So-
god.
Well, she's
Well,
not a fan.
Anne Rice is shopping around the Vampire Chronicles again. There was going to be a series set up on Hulu following Lestat, which is the main character of the Vampire Chronicles, but that's no longer a thing. So she repackaged the rights for Vampire Chronicles and the Mayfair Witches It's going for 30 to 40 million. But the cool thing about it is that whoever purchases the rights, the new owner will hold the rights in perpetuity, and it won't be just an option. So Paramount right now is set to be among the 4 or so bidders for the package. Anne Rice, was quoted as saying that this is something that she's looking to do, something that she's very passionate in getting the story of the Vampire Chronicles and Lestat into like the limited series form now.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. Instead of making it into just a series of movies, even though Interview the Vampire, I loved Interview the Vampire. I didn't like Queen of the Damned too much, but
I forgot.
Yeah,
those
I don't know.
were
I'm pretty.
connected.
Yeah, I'm pretty much. I mean, I don't know. I'm super stoked about it.
It's been a
you
while
guys-
since we've had a good vampire
I was
movie.
just gonna
Yeah.
say. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Twilight really took some life out of the vampires.
I completely
genre.
agree.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
it
love,
fucked it all
through
up.
the heart.
yeah, I would love to see something on the level of like Fright Night or The Lost Boys or whatever it might be.
Once
for,
bitten.
yeah, just a really quality vampire film, From Dusk Till Dawn, something, something.
Well, that I think kind
Sorry,
of
Eugene, do the pussy speech.
that switched the
To the
game.
pussy speech.
Yeah.
We got big
Pussy
pussy,
lover.
small pussy, yellow pussy, black pussy, smelly pussy, snapping pussy.
what a
You can
movie.
find cheaper pussy anywhere.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
That was my best Cheech Marin impression right there.
Give us a great vampire movie.
I
Now,
think that'd be great. I think
speaking of the Lost Boys, you guys knew that they developed the Lost Boys TV series. They made a pilot for it. I think it was for the CW, and the
Oh,
pilot
damn.
sucked so bad that they scrapped the whole thing. They fired pretty much the whole
CW.
cast, with the exception of 2 cast members, and now they're redoing the pilot all over again. I guess the pilot didn't. It wasn't familiar enough to the movie, so now they're just gonna rehash the movie and turn that into a series. It's weird. I don't know, but that's what's going on right now with the Lost Boys.
Because the Lost Boys sequels did so well.
Oh, they were terrible.
yeah, because they started focusing on the Frog Brothers, right?
Well,
They did. The first one had Kiefer Sutherland's brother, which I didn't even know he had a sibling. And it was a bunch of fucking surfer vampires.
Oh, okay.
And then they brought the Frog Brothers back.
no, well, wasn't,
and
this,
then-
wasn't the second Frog Brother only back for the second sequel?
Yeah.
Yes, because who's it? Fuck, I
Corey
forgot his name.
Feldman?
Corey Feldman
Yeah, I can't remember the other guy's
was in it, and then the other Frog Brother showed up for the third one,
name. Yeah, I think
and there was a stinger end credit scene at the end of the second one where Corey Haim had a cameo in it, and he was supposedly a vampire. Somehow he got turned into a vampire,
Boy.
and he was always like pushing to be in a Lost Boys sequel, but then he died because he was a fucking druggie.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if they remake that movie soon.
The Lost Boys.
Yeah,
See, that's one. I don't know.
I think it
know.
perfectly captures a moment in time, but I
Yes.
won't be surprised if they repackage it.
But then again, I mean, then we're going back to the whole issue and the whole subject of remakes and shit now.
yeah,
I mean, if they're going to try to make a remake, then make a worthy remake to the original. I mean, it's not gonna ruin the original for anybody, but still, if you think about it, I don't know. It just God, I hate fucking talking about remakes.
But wouldn't the Lost Boys translate well? And part of the plot of Lost Boys is like they think that the mom's boyfriend is a vampire.
Mhm.
So I mean, you could apply that today with like distrusting the other in our society. You know what I mean? Or like what's my neighbor up to? Like that would work perfectly if you have like this person I don't know might be something other. You know what I mean? As in a vampire.
I mean, that's
You know what I
that's
mean?
pretty much a plot of Fright Night.
Right.
Yeah,
And
they
you
did
can-
that, and
you
that
can-
sucked.
Well, sure, but that's because if you're trying to make it too
Did you just say Fright Night sucked?
no the remake.
The remake
Oh, I was
with
gonna
Colin
say,
Farrell.
Yeah.
You might be like 3 times the size of me, but we're gonna throw
Yeah,
hands at
yeah,
you.
Yeah,
But-
bring it on,
But,
cupcake.
I mean, sometimes you can't replicate the charm of the '80s, and I'm not arguing that
Yeah.
at all. Sometimes you just have to like take maybe a germ of that idea of the original movie and see how it translates to a modern audience and era.
Well, they
You know
just
what I mean?
tried doing that with Jacob's Ladder, and they made a remake of it. And from what I heard, because I haven't watched it, I watched one trailer for it. I thought the trailer fucking sucked. I heard it got released and then it gone.
Wait,
I didn't even think.
it
I didn't
came
even
out
think.
already?
I didn't even think it got released in the theaters.
It came out?
It went right to video.
I mean, look at the
Or on
Siska
demand.
Sisters did Rabid, Cronenberg's Rabid.
Mhm.
I'm still waiting to see that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
It's
that's
just-
gotten decent
I don't know
reviews,
where the
but
fuck what happened to
from
it.
what I heard for Jacob's Ladder, I've talked to a couple of people that have watched it. Absolutely horrible.
Mm.
And it has absolutely nothing to do with the original, the original story, kind of like Black Christmas. And it's just, it was just bad. Obviously, in the trailer, you saw there was a few of the like iconic scenes from the original with the ice water bath, and a couple of the scenes when he was seeing like the visions of the demons and shit. But it's a totally separate story, totally separate. Everything has nothing to do with the original, and all they did was capitalize on the name, and ended up sucking like most remakes are.
Is it a Vietnam
Sucking.
movie?
Something it was something from what I heard. It's
Or like
something
war
along
in
the lines
Iraq or
where
Afghanistan or
the
something
one
like that?
guy, his brother comes back from the war and he has like PTSD, and I guess it's all like a message movie about PTSD.
You could do a good movie with that
That premise.
basic idea.
Uh-huh.
But if you don't have the right team working on it, it's going to be shit no matter what
Yeah.
the movie is going to be. It's like somehow people think that remakes in general are just all going to be garbage. But I would say
That's not true.
Those are the odds for any movie coming out. Whether it's PG-13 horror, R-rated horror. I mean, they're not all going to be good. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when a good one does come, it just makes it even better. Like Evil Dead remake, it's
Mhm.
the same germ of an idea of a movie.
Yeah.
A bunch of kids go to a cabin and
Yeah.
fucking evil gets unleashed or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all you really need,
Mhm.
and it worked in that particular case.
I think you're noticing when people actually care about the story
Yes.
and like are attached to some of that source material, in the sense of they want to tell a good story in general. Like you could see a bunch of that stuff
Yeah.
in almost any of these
Sure.
movies. I mean, like look at Into the Spider-Verse. Like the movie becomes super successful because they
So good.
they cared about the genre and wanted to tell that story from a different perspective.
I
I
haven't
mean,
seen
like,
it.
but that movie flat out like.
It took me a minute to realize we weren't talking about a horror movie. You can keep talking. You keep going. I have have nothing to add.
Go on,
You gotta
Dan.
have
I got your
love.
back.
You gotta
I got
have
your
love.
back, man. Don't worry about it.
TLC. You gotta have some love and care
Like,
to make it
T-Boz's Left Eye and Chili.
exactly.
Wow.
Don't go chasing
Don't-
water.
Oh wow, you beat me to it.
Stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to.
Yeah. Unpretty. Now that's a beautiful song. I don't
Red
care.
Light Special was always my jam.
Yes. Too bad Left Eye had to die.
Too bad
Yikes.
Peter's a creep.
What? Shoop
You're
shoop.
making a Radiohead reference.
I'm pretty sure that's a Salt and Pepper
That's-
song, sir.
What? Shoop shoop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking TLC here.
Yeah, I know. But black girls, girl band, whatever. It's all the same.
All the same, right? Yeah.
It's all the same.
Ooh, that was Eugene who said that. Everyone, person of color,
Also-
Yeah.
also
The one person of color here now.
person of color.
Also,
Yeah.
the one who hates the new Black Christmas, otherwise known as the Girl Power Black Christmas.
Okay, you know what? Fine. Let's. Have you watched it yet? Has anybody seen it?
No.
No interest.
I have not seen it. No.
You have not seen it. Okay.
No.
So why are you getting so every time I mention it and how bad it was?
Oh, I just know it's a goat. You're trying to goat me.
I'm not trying to goat you. I'm just saying. I mean,
Wait, it's a goat like the greatest of all time.
It was a yeah, that is greatest of all time.
The new Black Christmas. Goat.
Which is funny because I'm on the computer right now, and what's a nice little ad on the side there for
A little black
a
Christmas.
little Black
They're
Christmas.
listening.
Nice.
Yeah.
They want
it
you.
just popped up.
It's still there. It's at the theaters.
I might. This holiday season is a little busy for me, Dan, but
Is
I do
it?
want to see it. There's a lot I have to check out.
On a free Monday night.
Just watch the trailer. Watch the
I
2
don't
minute
wanna
trailer.
watch the
That's the
trailer.
whole movie. That's the whole
Cheaper.
movie. It's not worth it. I'm telling you right now, it's not worth it. If you find a redeeming quality, I don't know.
He'll
I'll
find
blow you.
He'll find one.
There we go. Look at these dick sucking lips. All right.
Whoa.
Yeah, you'd appreciate it. All right. All right.
He'll find a
I don't know if I'll
redeeming
spit and
quality.
swallow or swallow. That's going to be a
We'll cross
surprise.
that
We'll have
cross
to
it
wait
when
and
we get
see.
There, yeah. But
Oh my god.
But there you go.
my argument is not a defense specifically to the Black Christmas remake. It's not a defense for that one movie in particular. It's about PG-13 horror in general. That it has the same potential to be as good or as bad as any other horror movie of any other rating. Just because a movie is PG-13 horror doesn't mean it's going to be any better or any worse than all the countless rated R horror movies that we
Okay.
see come out.
Now,
every
with
year.
your argument with the PG-13 movies, when we were talking about it before a couple weeks ago, you brought up PG-13 movies that came out back, or horror movies that came out back in like the 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s. But I challenge you to come up with at least, let's go 3. 3 PG-13 horror movies, and I'm using air quotes now, that have come out in the last 5 to 7 years that it's actually a good movie.
A Quiet Place.
That was PG-13?
I bet you if you Google it, you'll find out what it is.
Keep going. I'm going to look it up.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And to me, it was fantastic. A third one, I'd have to think about it. I don't want to waste time doing that. But I'm sure if you just Google modern PG-13 horror, you'll find.
Well, they're both on their phones. So
Yeah.
one of them will find out.
So. Did you like Quiet Place, Marcus?
I also think it
All
was
right.
R.
That was
but I could be mistaken.
PG-13.
Okay,
No, it's
okay,
PG-13.
okay.
Yep, he was right.
But see, like I've told you in private, not on the podcast, I'm not totally anti-remake, but not remake. I'm not totally anti-PG-13. I can't talk. PG-13 horror.
Okay.
Hearing about Eugene sucking your dick just got me all flustered. I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
man. Hot and heavy.
like I told you, at least if it's R and it's a shitty movie, there's chance for decent gore or even laughable gore or maybe some boobs, and those were always like things that got me through bad horror movies back in the day when they were rated R, and you can't really guarantee that with PG-13.
Sure, but so part of my argument is also that the addition of gore solely is not going to make a bad movie any better. You're still going to have the same
It might make it more enjoyable.
Sure, but it's not going to change the performances or the
No, totally.
plot or the
Totally agree with
pacing
you on
or
that.
any of the things that you would generally criticize about a movie being poor is not going to change the movie in its essence. And the bones of the movie aren't going to change because there's boobs or breasts or blood. I love all that stuff in horror movies. I love all that. I love crazy gore. I love nudity. I enjoy it. But I also like, some PG-13 horror movies. And I think a good movie is going to be a good movie, and the same goes for a bad one. Nothing about the addition of like some, a pair of breasts is going to make a bad movie any better. You know what I mean?
Like I'm pulling up a list right now, all right? And they're going 11 scariest horror, PG-13 horror movies. We got Poltergeist
Which
at
is
number
PG.
1.
PG.
We got that's what you said. Didn't I say PG-13?
Oh, okay.
We got Tremors,
Okay, I don't
Gremlins.
want to interrupt you. Happy Death Day, Insidious,
Insidious,
Mama.
I've never seen Insidious.
All huge movies, and the rest
Happy
are
Death
kinda
Day
garbage, but
is on here.
Drag Me
Sixth
to Hell,
Sense,
pretty great.
I love Drag Me to Hell, but the unrated
Final
one's
Girls,
Quiet
love
Place.
the Final Girls. That was one of the best modern horror movies. I know you love that one.
The Gate, The Witches, Drag Me to Hell. But I mean, again, Drag Me to Hell was 2009. It was 10 years
Okay,
ago. I'm saying the last
Final
the
Girls
last
came
5
out-
to 7 years.
Okay, I would say Final Girls, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and A Quiet Place. If I had to
love
pick.
Final Girls. Honestly, I think Final Girl, I love that movie.
Me too. PG-13. Fantastic. One of the best modern horror movies.
What's the plot of it? I've never even heard of it.
It's about a young girl whose mother dies,
Played
and
by
the mother
Malin Ackerman or Malene Ackerman.
Okay.
whatever her name is.
the mother was a famous cult movie actress, and
From like a Friday the 13th
yeah,
sequel.
from like horror movies.
Okay.
So the daughter goes to a
Screening.
repertory screening of one of her mom's movies, and something happens where her and her friends or something get sucked into the movie that her mom's in, which is like a Friday the 13th movie.
Mhm.
And they have to like survive within the movie, and her mama's stuff doesn't remember her because she's the character within the movie,
Oh.
not, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they're dealing with the actual characters in the movie, not the actors who are playing them.
But it's
And
you
so
know,
they
she's
have-
very emotional because she gets to be
Yeah,
with
that's
her
her
mother
mom,
again, even though her
you know what I
mom's
mean?
not
Yeah.
her mom.
And so then you have that some sort of meta, like have to figure out the rules of the genre to survive through
Mhm.
the end of the movie or whatever. It's really great.
Yeah.
It's really
I
fantastic.
know this is an unpopular opinion, but that's what I'm here for. I love that movie, and I think it's what Cabin in the Woods should have been.
Get. Please, man. Please.
Just saying.
Cabin in the Woods. I was trying to make a list of the best movies of the decade. Horror movies, I mean. Cabin in the Woods is probably my number one best horror movie of the 2010s.
Wow.
Oh. Oh.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
And he likes that movie.
Yep.
I don't.
I love that movie. I love Cabin in the Woods.
Yep.
Huh. That's funny because I'm still making my list.
It's not an easy list to make by any means,
Yeah.
but I think if you're going to make a list, you got to at least
What's your
think
list?
about Cabin in the Woods.
Well, we're going to talk about that next episode.
Oh,
Oh, spoiler.
Well,
Yeah.
what if I've only seen 8 movies?
In the decade?
Yeah.
Yeah. We
You
know
just
that's-
don't
we
like
know
any
that's not
of
the
them.
case.
You're
I like-
your
We know
top
that's
2
not
of
the
the
case.
decade.
We were talking about Dr. Sleep. I like that. I just saw Parasite. I like that.
I'm teasing.
Was Parasite good? But Parasite isn't even a horror movie, though, right? Oh, I heard it's not.
a
It's
new
not even.
movie. And I don't like
Okay.
a lot of new
For
movies.
that
It has
argument,
Parasite.
that works.
I'd rather watch Parasite from the '80s with Demi Moore.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
That was in
this,
3D.
This was not a faithful adaptation. by
Parasite
any
is a movie, a foreign movie for people who don't see many foreign movies. They're like, oh, this is the one foreign movie I'm going to see this year.
See, I
And
seem
now
to
I
like
love it.
Korean movies more than any like other Asian.
Yeah, they're doing
like-
cool
Why
stuff
did
for
this one
sure.
get such a huge like marketing push though?
Because the director is prestigious, you know. He's
Okay.
done
Did the
a bunch of
Host.
stuff. The Host, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Snowpiercer.
Okay.
Bong Joon-ho is his name. He did
Oh.
Okja on Netflix.
I still haven't watched that. Is that
Yeah,
any good?
I haven't watched it either. I wanted to.
Hmm.
But yeah, so Final Girls, fantastic. One of the best modern horror movies, PG-13.
All right, we'll have to check that. out.
Not on par with Cabin in the Woods, but a fantastic
Disagree.
movie nonetheless.
All right.
But, you know, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, PG-13.
80s.
80s.
Tom Modern.
Again,
Okay, I gave you your 3.
you did
but-
give me my 3,
yeah.
but I mean, it's still. I'm sorry. You know, you got your hill and I got mine. I still say modern PG-13 quote unquote horror movies suck right now, and they're horrible. And the only reason that they're making them PG-13 is so that way they can reach a wider general audience, because most kids won't come out. Well, aren't allowed to come out to an R-rated movie.
I love that
They want to
Peter's
get more people
raising his hand.
buying tickets to come and watch
Biding
these
his time,
movies.
doesn't want to interrupt.
Yes, Peter, out in front with his
Okay.
hand raised.
Okay, so here's part of my argument.
Okay.
Okay, look at the numbers. How many R-rated or unrated horror movies do you see a year? Just give me a round number.
Not a lot. Maybe like maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe.
No. I'm talking like
Oh.
R-rated, unrated horror movies, like
R-rated, unrated horror
or
movies.
either or. Let's just go for R-rated then. R-rated horror. How many do you see? Give me a round number. I don't know, 10, 20, etc. Like that.
Oh, you mean in general, not in the theaters?
Yeah, in general. I
Oh,
assume.
in general?
Yeah.
Dozens.
Dozens.
Yeah.
All right. So what? What do you want to say? 60?
Sure.
Sure.
Of those 60 movies, how many would you say are top notch out of that 60?
Maybe 8 to 10.
That's not a great percentage, is it? Great percentile. 10 out of 60?
I mean,
1/6.
Yeah, not great. So
Okay.
I'm saying, are all these R-rated horror movies that you're watching, are they quality?
no,
No.
not all of them.
No, but that's what I mean. So you're going to get as many crappy movies in the
Uh-huh.
R-rated ones than you are in PG-13. I mean, you know what I mean? There isn't this like somehow.
But these movies aren't all getting wide release theatrical wide releases. The PG-13 movies are. And the only reason they're getting these wide releases is because they're PG-13, and the studios are
But
making them
the
PG-13
numbers
and sanitizing the horror
the numbers,
to make them for a wider audience.
The numbers would tell you otherwise. And for movies in general, Joker made $1 billion. Deadpool 2,
Mhm.
the original Deadpool,
Mhm.
Aren't
and
these all R-rated?
They're all R-rated, but they're
yeah,
also
but his
they're
argument
also
is saying is that
quote
they're
unquote
not
comic book
making-
movies.
They're not putting
Nerd
R-rated
shit.
mainstream horror movies into theaters because they want to reach this widest possible audience. But wide audiences are seeing R-rated movies, and that's proof by these movies making $1 billion, you know, or whatever, you know. And Halloween 2018 made at least broke some records for October
Mhm.
releases. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't remember the exact one, but It Chapter 1 made a ton of money when it
Mhm.
came out. Chapter 2 as well. Both are
Yeah.
rated movies. But I'm saying that people, it's not just they're making PG-13 movies just because they think more people are going to see them. Because now there's a ton of people seeing R-rated movies, and the numbers prove that. So there is, you know what I mean? A
Unless you're
PG-13,
R-rated in Dr. Sleep.
nobody was seeing that. I don't think no matter what it's going to be rated, you know, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But,
Tier.
you know,
But they're just these PG-13. They're just churning out the movies that you mentioned. The R-rated ones are quality movies that studios got behind and actually put work and money towards to make a quality film. Whereas most of these other PG-13, whether straight horror movies or remakes, They're just doing them just to make a quick buck.
I think we can all agree
A la Black
that
Christmas.
whether we're talking PG-13 versus R, original versus remake, if there's heart put into the movie, chances are it'll be good or at
Yes.
least
Mhm.
acceptable.
Sure. I can
Whereas-
agree with that.
If there's not that heart put into it, it's going to fall flat. And I think that's the problem with a lot of PG-13 and a lot of remakes.
Yep.
Because a lot of them are lacking the heart.
Yes.
But I'm saying,
I'm not saying
doesn't that
all.
argument apply to all movies
No, it does.
in general?
But that's what I said in the first part of that statement. And then I said that's why people, because they're already at least, even if a movie's not that great and there's the original that you have at least some kind of attachment to, if someone makes a remake of that, it's going to feel like someone's like punching you in the face because you
Sure.
have that attachment to
Yeah.
it. That doesn't make it any. I can't.
But haven't
talk,
we
I'm
almost
sorry.
gotten numb to the idea of everything we love being remade?
I got
haven't
dumped
we-
to it a long time ago.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah, so what does it matter? They're gonna eventually remake
I
everything.
don't care. I just won't.
They're gonna
watch it.
remake the
don't want
Godfather. They're gonna remake Taxi Driver.
I
You
don't
know,
know
it's
if they're
only a
gonna
matter
do
of
that.
time. You know, and so it doesn't really fucking matter.
No, it
You know,
doesn't
they can
matter.
keep-
But it's just the whole PG-13 and the whole PG-13's quote unquote horror movie thing just bugs me. Just bugs me. The moment I watch a trailer and I think a trailer looks okay, as soon as I see rated PG-13, right away
Well,
it just
Eugene,
elicits a reaction from
I know
me.
you weren't a big fan
negative.
of the sequel, but didn't you like the first Happy Death Day?
I like the
did,
first one.
yeah,
I thought it was
PG-13.
different. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a decent, like, what's the word I'm looking
Groundhog
for?
Day kind of thing.
A what?
Groundhog Day.
I mean, it was a slasher, it was Groundhog Day slasher version.
Right, but that was PG-13.
Which I thought because it was a fun movie. It was good. It was a fun movie. Then you had the sequel, which just
never saw
totally
The sequel.
Yeah,
was
neither have
horrible.
I.
It was just
Thanks to Eugene.
bad. Yeah,
I
it
haven't
was
seen it.
horribly bad. It tried to add on to and make it into like a sci-fi comedy type deal. Took the horror out of it and the whole slasher aspect out of it, and just made it stupid. But yeah, I mean, again, there's some exceptions to the rule. There's always exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, I every time I hear PG-13 horror, I cringe. And most of the time, and I go, and it's not like I'm not one of those people that go, oh look, it's PG-13, I'm not going to see it. It sucks. I'm going to give it a chance, and I'm going to go to the movies and watch it and give it a shot and see if it's good or not. But 9 times out of 10, the movie's bad, in my opinion.
Aren't like most movies 9 times out of 10 not that great? I mean, how many masterpieces
It all
are you going to
depends.
see?
It all depends.
You know what I mean? There's going to be, of course, every year is probably going to be like 2 really fantastic movies that you're going to see. The rest you're going to think are pretty good. Okay. But like, wow, this is the crown jewel of this year. There's only going to be 1 or 2, man, that are really phenomenal.
Well, yeah. I
and it
mean, I'm not
doesn't
looking.
matter.
I'm not looking for it for every movie that I go see for it to be a phenomenal movie, but it's got to be good.
Sure.
And most movies I watch, because I go to the movies every week, sometimes 2-3 times a week, most of the movies I see are good.
Aren't good or are good?
Are good.
Are good.
Are good.
Mhm.
Except PG-13 horror movies.
Would the most recent Black Christmas remake have benefited from gore, blood, nudity, etc.?
I think it would have. I think it would have made it more fun. I think instead of the fact that it was PG-13 didn't show anything in terms of blood, showed minimal amount of blood, and then on top of that, it tried beating you over the fucking head with the whole girl power, Me Too fucking message over your head. It just turned me off.
Yeah, but it being rated R wouldn't change the messaging issue that you have.
It
with that
wouldn't
movie.
change the message issue, but it would have made it a little more fun if there was more gore, there was nudity, there all that shit. It would have made it fun.
What Eugene's saying is he likes the gratuitous nature of horror movies, and it's kind of
For the most part, I mean, if a
Which is
movie,
fine.
And I'm not-
I love it. I love Dead
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alive. I love Evil Dead 2. I
Yeah.
love all those crazy, gory, over the top movies.
Mhm.
So I'm not writing off that stuff at all. I'm just saying that if it sounds like this Black Christmas movie would have probably been bad no matter what. I haven't seen it, but just from what people have told me, because now I'm like the poster boy for this fucking movie and I haven't seen it. It just sounds like the character, the performance is going to be the same, the writing is going to be the same, the pacing, cinematography, whatever the normal issues of the movie would be that people could criticize, none of that would be changed by seeing a left titty pop out. None of that would have made a difference.
I don't know. I think it would have. I think maybe with it being rated R and it having a little more horror, like
It wouldn't have been a
gratuitous
better movie, but it might have been more
gore.
enjoyable.
Okay.
Yes,
It's basically
that's what
the
I'm
point I
saying.
made about
That's what I'm
I can
saying.
deal with that.
PG-13.
That's what I'm saying.
I can totally ride with that, but it's just like, well, that's a bad movie because it was PG-13. Like what? Like that's not an art. That's I don't know. I'm not gonna try to that's your opinion's your opinion, but that's I don't know if I would count it, man.
And I don't know if we have time to get into this, but I'm all for girl power and everything like that. But I feel like some of the movies that have come out recently are really beating you over the head with it, and I wish it was just a little bit easier.
Don't
to
you think that women are being sick of like getting beaten over the head with all the fucking men in movies and the fucking testosterone in movies?
I don't know.
and stuff
I don't know
too,
if
man?
it's so much.
I don't
If
watch
it's so
much
much
testosterone
specifically the whole Me Too women empowering thing. I think it's in general movies coming out and just beating you with a message, any kind of message, whether
Yeah,
it's
could be.
whether it's feminist, male chauvinist, racial, whatever.
Because we live in divisive
politics.
times. That's
We
the
do,
nature of our culture.
but now the movies are coming out and they're just making it just so obvious. They just fucking they have this hidden agenda and they're just beating you with this fucking message. Like as much as I loved both movies. I loved Get Out and I loved Us. Also the social commentary was just literally you can cut it with a fucking knife. It was so goddamn thick and it was just out there. It made him a good movie. It made it a good movie. But nowadays, every movie's got to have some sort of fucking message beat into you.
Peter. in the
Yes,
front.
Peter in the front with your hand raised.
If you have Jordan Peele, who is a black man, writing and directing a movie, the movie is going to be told through his experience,
Mhm.
his lived experience. So it's not about getting beaten over the head with the messaging. The message is inherent to the person creating it because that's their life experience. So you want a movie like Get Out. It's Jordan Peele is the one who's going to give it to you, because that's
Mhm.
that who wrote it and who directed it. Same thing with this Black Christmas remake. I haven't seen it, but I know a woman directed it. So her
Yeah,
experience,
and a woman wrote it.
exactly,
Yeah.
because that's part of their lived experience, and that is going to come through the writing and the directing because that's inherent to the people that are creating it. You know what I mean? We're so used to the default of everything being white dudes, right? That's usually the default in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so we find that more palatable because that's what we're so used to seeing as a culture for time infinite, right? And now different voices are peeking in, and it seems like we're getting hammered over the head with it. But like, no,
Mm-hmm.
it's still just a tiny sliver of people. Different voices are sneaking into these movies. And instead of being like, oh my God, there was too much women stuff, we should be like, well, that's great. We got new voices coming in, and we've got all this history of like fucking
See, I never said it
wafers,
was too
vanilla
much.
wafers.
I just say it just feels like it sticks out, like that they're.
Yeah,
like-
because
like that you
as
just
it
said,
I'm
should.
saying it's too much.
As it should. It sticks out because we're so not used to hearing different voices in movies in general. And so, I don't think Jordan Peele's like, I'm going to make a social commentary movie.
See, and I think he
it
is.
was.
I think he
Because
is.
that's inherent to his life experience. Racial issues
I'm not
are going to
disagreeing
be
with that,
are
but I
going to
think
be.
they
That's
wanted
like
to-
Same thing
saying
with the
that's
one
like
with
saying
Black
that Guillermo del
Christmas.
Toro's movies. He's going to be making movies because he's Mexican.
You don't
He's
think-
gonna throw a message movie out there about fucking Trump wanting to put up a wall. So he wants to. Every movie he's gonna make is gonna be about the fucking the Mexicans and everything that they have to go through.
But
It's not
part
the
of his,
same.
But parts of his culture have snuck into his movies already. Pan's Labyrinth, I know, has that whole thing about the war. I have no idea what the fuck that war is. But it's a great. I don't. But it's a great movie and it's well made, and I understand that's his life.
But again, if he
experience.
does have a social commentary, if he does have a message in it, the message is subtle and it's in there. It's not getting beat over your fucking head with a sledgehammer with it. That's what I'm saying.
So is it just having like a horror movie that's about race in general? Is that being beaten over the head? What's a subtle way to deal with racism or sexism?
I mean, there is subtle ways to do it and make it entertaining where you don't feel like somebody's talking at you and where the movie's the equivalent of a fucking college lecture on something on a social commentary. I go to the movies to be entertained. I don't go to the movies to I don't want to go to the movies to learn shit.
Yeah,
That's why they got documentaries and that's what they got school for.
But at its essence, movies are an art form. Just like a book or a painting or whatever, movies, whether you digest them as an art form or not, are an art form. Yes, they're
Mhm.
used as
Yep.
entertainment.
I agree.
But movies can also be like art. You know what I mean? And they
Mhm.
could they should be maybe incendiary and dangerous, and they have the power to like to say something. Maybe the message isn't for you, but perhaps there's someone in that audience that the message will reach who needs it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And sometimes that's why I'm like, yeah, it's not for me, but I understand that I'm not part of that audience,
Mhm.
and I'm totally cool with that. But I think we're just so used to the default of everything being the way it is, that anytime someone's like, hey, I have a voice and I want to talk too, it's like, oh, not this shit again. You know what I mean?
Dan, you've been
Am I
very
talking
quiet through this
crazy?
whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
What's your opinion?
I mean, I know a lot about the history of cinema and like
Mhm.
how.
Oh,
Well, like
wow.
it's because I took those classes and I love
Yeah.
those lectures, and they talk about Birth of a Nation and
Mhm.
how like
Mhm.
it's
Propaganda.
actually the decline of the Ku Klux Klan, and how like there was maybe 6% in the entire United States, and then that movie came out and you saw this radical rebirth in that.
Yeah.
So like movies
One of the
do
highest
have,
grossing movies of all time.
I mean, like they
Justice for
showed it in the
Inflation.
White House, like they did all this shit with this movie that it has this power, and like everybody's got a voice and they want to be heard, and I think that sometimes it's this cinema like has that power to reach a wider audience, and it hits to like lowest common denominator, and sometimes it's got to shake shit up because if it's not doing that stuff, I mean, Fritz Lang left Germany because Hitler knew how much power those movies had, and he wanted him to direct all of his propaganda films. Like he knew he had to get out of the country.
And also that time though, more people were seeing movies, like because
Well, not this. I mean, like popcorn didn't become popular because it became popular because it was disposable. Like, and it was a throwaway thing that, I mean, it
Yeah.
was dirt,
Yeah.
and like people were going there to watch movies, but I mean, it wasn't like how it is now where it's an event.
Yeah.
It was like disposable, like how we look at television.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the disconnect, is now when we're seeing these stories that we're not used to. It's like, oh,
It's jarring.
it's jarring. Yeah, it leaves you feeling weird. And I mean, like, is there better ways to tell the message? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Is there a better way? But I
Let
think
me tell you, as a man, how to
but
make
that's
your
the thing.
feminist
It's like I
movies
should.
better.
I'm not. This is not my time.
Yeah.
This is not my time to be saying this stuff. Like, I'd actually rather be hearing more from Eugene. Like,
Yeah.
that's the stories I want to hear. Like, I gravitate
Sure.
towards.
I'd love to watch a
the-
Eugene
the-
horror movie.
I'd love to hear more about that stuff than
Mhm.
like my stuff. I know, like
Right.
it's easy for me
You
to
have
digest.
Star Wars. You have Star Wars.
I have that stuff. I'm
Yeah.
able to go through that, and like it is what it is. But I mean, like, you
But-
can relate to the people that want to watch the coming up. You want to see them rise above something, and I think that what's happening right now is that some people just don't want it,
I totally.
and
get
it's
it.
when you feel as though you're being beat over the head with a message, that's where you disconnect.
Mhm.
Whereas if it's
Mhm.
subtle, it can be, you thought it out more. It's more of a clever way versus Get Out versus Us, right? Get Out was clever because it bucked some of the trends. Us, it seemed like it was more of a beating over the head.
Yeah.
But it's also, we're now paying more attention to it and looking for things. So if you go in with a mindset of, this is going to have a message, this is going to be political, you've already judged it.
Yeah.
You've got it from the jump.
So yeah, if you don't want to see a movie that has feminist messaging, or a movie that deals with race and all that, don't see movies directed by women. Don't see movies directed by black dudes. If that stuff isn't your cup of tea, don't see it, because it's inherently going to be in there. Whether it's beaten over the head or not, or whether it's more subtle, it's going to be in there. That's just inherent to the voice speaking the movie. That's just how it's going to be. That movie Revenge that came out, the French movie a couple years ago. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I haven't seen it yet. It's on
No.
my
Did
list.
you see
I'm
that?
sh- sure
Of
I
course
will.
not. French woman directed it, right? It's a rape revenge movie.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but I mean, like,
But it changes the whole subgenre because now it's a woman telling the story. You know what I mean?
Is
Just-
it? No, I found
Yes,
it
it
enjoyable. It,
changed-
didn't really change it.
It ch-
The
it changes it
woman
inherently.
revenge movie. It was for me. It was just a typical women. It was a step above I Spit on Your Grave. But
It's
it didn't change it for me because it was directed by a woman.
yeah, I saw Raw, and like,
directed by a woman.
yeah, but I didn't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care that it was written by a woman. It seemed like a good story. Like, and then, oh wow, that was done by a woman. Wow. Oh, okay.
Cool.
Whatever. That's like a bonus.
But perhaps in those movies, the messaging wasn't as perhaps loud as you're saying in some of these other movies. And I'm saying that the message is going to be inherent to the DNA of the movie because of the people telling it.
Which is fine,
We're
as
all
long as they
saying the
keep it subtle and they don't try to beat you over the head with it. If that's not what their
So-
agenda
so
is, and it
we have
seems
to
like
say-
most of
we
these
have to
people,
see-
most of
we
these
have to say,
people,
like, look,
their agenda has to
I
be
don't
like,
mind the issue of race in this movie, but just tone it down a little.
Yes.
So it's more palatable.
yes.
I don't mind women
Yes.
have autonomy. Just tone it down.
If you're
a little.
gonna make a movie, then do it in the genre that it's intended. I mean, I might be in the
Make a
minority here,
romantic comedy, ladies.
pun intended. Look at Green Book. Green Book was 100% because about racism,
I don't know if people.
And you
Directed
knew
by a
going-
white dude.
but still, it's still a message movie. So if it would have been directed by a black dude, who cares? But still, it's a message movie. I knew that was going to have a
I
social
didn't
commentary.
see the
I knew that.
movie.
I knew what the movie was going to be about.
I didn't see the movie. All right.
Okay.
But I did have to deal with that movie for many months.
Mhm.
So correct
we
me.
saw on
so
Facebook.
I'm so correct me if I'm wrong. But isn't that movie about we could solve racism if the black guy just plays nice and tolerates these racist white people for a while?
No.
I don't know if that was no. That wasn't the message.
So the
of
people
movie.
around him are being racist to him generally the whole time, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Varying levels, but yes.
And he
Yes.
has to tolerate that, correct?
Well, that's how it was. Back
Yes.
in the-
Right.
That's how it
And
was.
Well, that's not everyone was tolerant of that back in the day. I mean, it was
Right,
it has
you
to be a
usually get getting
battle,
lynched.
that has to be fought. But it's like, so the guy in Green Book has to tolerate the racism and be nice about it, because I know, and that's what solves racism. If only we gave these racists a shot. Maybe they're not so bad after all. We have a lot more in common than we know. You know what I mean? It makes the reality of dealing with these issues much more sanitized. And I don't think you guys like your stuff to be sanitized. You know what I mean? Because in real life, handling these issues is complicated and messy. And it's not just like kumbaya. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be all cool all the time because that's not how these things work in real
You're right.
life.
But if you're gonna do a social commentary, you're gonna do in a movie. Maybe, and again, I'm probably in the minority of this. I don't want my horror, my comedy, or any of those type, even specifically those two. I don't want to get hit over the head with social commentary. I would just want to get entertained.
It's horror.
That's it.
Horror is a vehicle, and sometimes social issues get hidden in that vehicle. Like George Romero has a history
Mhm.
of doing
Right,
that
but
with
you
Night
just,
of the
you
Living
just,
Dead.
But he did it
you just said
subtly.
hidden.
He wasn't
How do you do
beating you over the head
subtly
with
when
it.
Your lead is a black guy. There's no subtlety in that. If a movie comes out in the late '60s and your hero is a black guy slapping white women and punching white dudes, that's not subtle. That was a very bold choice, whether Romero admitted it or not. It was. You watch that now, and that seems like an edgy choice to make. You know what I mean? The same thing in Dawn of the Dead. The Ken Foree being the fucking action hero. That's not. I don't think that's subtle. That's whether, I mean, to us, we're used to it. But can you imagine in like when did Night of the Living Dead come out? 68, 69, something like that?
68, yeah.
I mean, that
68.
must have been just a revelatory experience to see something like that.
I'm sure it was because they cast a black guy in it, but I mean, also, with Dawn of the Dead, and he brought that one up. It had nothing to do with race. His social commentary on that, which was kind of subtle,
about
was he was like
consumerism. It's
American
not-
consumerism. Yeah,
You had zombies walking around in a mall. And that
yeah,
was the
because they're
issue
so
of,
used to like in life going to the malls and shopping and shit that was
not really subtle. It's probably my favorite movie of all time.
Mhm.
So I'm completely for it. But I'm saying that the casting of somebody like Ken Foree as the action hero star of that film
Mhm.
is definitely a bold choice.
yeah, for the 70s. Yeah,
And so I don't think those were subtle choices because that's who you have leading the movie. You know what I mean? It's clear. It's right there. Like Romero didn't seem like he was, clearly a very humble guy. But you don't Night of the Living Dead. I mean, that was a very bold choice
Mhm.
what he did with that movie.
He only casted Dwayne because he was the best actor that auditioned for the role. Though. It wasn't initially
Sure.
written for a black.
But
guy.
his very
that
presence,
was just a benefit.
his very presence in the movie changes the whole dynamic
No,
of
no,
everything.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Right. So it doesn't matter what Romero's intention or not. The movie doesn't belong to him in his case, literally. But it doesn't matter once it's out
belongs to
there.
him now that he's dead.
Yeah.
unfortunately, but yeah.
Now it's out there. Now it belongs to the culture. You know what I mean? And I don't know. That's just my opinion on the whole thing. I mean, there's a history of messaging in horror, whether we are aware of it or not.
All right. Anybody else got anything to say on this? No. All right. Well, that's about it then.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, this was fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. Basically, we're still going to be keeping the Terror Trio name for now. So if you want to shout at us, give us a line, anything, any commentary, you can reach us at terrortrio@gmail.com. Also, we're on the social medias. We're everywhere. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter at Terror Trio Cast, Terror Trio Podcast. Also, we're on the Patreon, patreon.com / the Beef Master Network. And also, we're still on Teespring. You can actually catch this podcast, the audio version, also the audio version of Geeks at Lift, and Table Smack on YouTube. Basically, we're under the Beef Master Network channel, and you can catch it anywhere. So right now for the quote-unquote Terror Trio / Gore 4, I'm Eugene with my special guests,
Dan Morris,
Peter Vulo,
and
Marcus Ganti-Rotella.
And that's it, guys. No more weird catchphrases at the end of the episodes. Tune in. Hopefully you guys keep listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Whoa, there you go.